Members and all for being here this evening for the regular meeting of the Moana-Kaka'ako Neighborhood Board. We are now coming to order at 6:03 p.m. Okay. Mr. Washburn, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Folks online, can you give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear me clearly? Okay, thank you. And as we all know, the purpose of the neighborhood board is to encourage civic engagement. So our neighborhood that we live in can be a great place to live, play, work, and thrive. We'll go through the roll call. Miss Camilla Gomes.
Okay, Chang,
Here.
Chi. Chi, are you here?
Sorry, can you hear?
Okay, thank you. Farinas, Hashimoto, Hernandez. Not here yet. Morella. Not here yet. Shirley,
Here.
Rand, Rice, Vanderbrink. 8 members present.
Okay, thank you, members, for being here this evening. Let's move on to public safety reports, starting with the Honolulu Fire Department.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Captain Gibo, First Watch, Engine 2, Powell Fire Station. This is the August monthly statistics for Powell Fire Station. We had 4 structure fires, 4 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire, and 17 activated alarms. We also responded to 142 medicals, 15 motor vehicle collisions, and 2 hazardous materials incidents. Our fire safety tip for this month is emergency notification and resources. Understanding how you will be alerting during emergency and knowing where to find accurate official information is a key part of being prepared. Learn more at honolulu.gov/DEM. Stay informed. Some alert methods, opt-in alerts. These notify individuals who have signed up to receive alerts via text, email, or app push notifications. Based on user preference, alerts are not sent based on location. Number 1, systems include HNL Alert and official government social media. 2, sign up at hnlalert.gov to receive notifications. And 3, alerts may be shared by official city, state, and trusted partner accounts. Public alert and warning systems. These systems deliver urgent life-saving information during immediate threats to public safety. In Hawaii, this includes 1, the EAS or the Emergency Alert System, 2, wireless emergency alerts, WEA, and 3, outdoor warning sirens. Depending on the emergency, 1 or more of these sirens may be activated. Any questions from anyone tonight?
Board questions? Okay, I think we're good. Captain Gibo, thank you for being here this evening. Moving on to Honolulu Police Department.
Everybody, my name is Sergeant Higa. So for the Kaka'ako area, our stats for this month is 7 motor vehicle thefts as opposed to 10 last month. 2 burglaries compared to 3 last month. 92 thefts compared to 75 last month. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't want to talk to myself. But 13 unauthorized entry to motor vehicles, so car break-ins compared to 17 last month. 21 assaults compared to 12. 8 sexual assaults compared to 2. 2 graffiti cases compared to 0 last month. 10 drug cases compared to 16, and 149 motor vehicle collisions compared to 129 last month. So a total of 3,204 calls for service as opposed to 3,017 for last month. I guess a good tip for this month would be traffic safety. It's a big thing now. Yeah, be careful. Don't rush. Don't speed. Stay off your phones. Be mindful of pedestrians and drive with aloha. Any questions?
Thank you, Officer Higa. Did I get that correctly?
Yeah, Sergeant Higa.
Sergeant
Officer,
Higa,
whatever.
thank you. Uh, Member Rice.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Sergeant Higa. I just want to bring up a concern. I live in the Ward Village area, and there just seems to be more and more homeless. And not only is there more homeless, but they have multiple shopping carts tied together. And it's like a choo-choo train when
Right.
they're coming in Moana Park at 5 o'clock in the morning, because they make a lot of noise when they do it, and then coming out at 10 o'clock. Also, Moana Park, I walk the park every day, and there's more and more homeless, especially at the entrance at Atkinson Drive. And if you drive Atkinson Drive or walk Atkinson Drive, they're on the sidewalks, blocking the sidewalks. Today was a perfect example. There was a man there 3/4 of the way naked, lying on the sidewalk, and nobody could pass him. They had to go in the street to do so. And that's not right. And throughout the park, there's a guy at one of the big banyan trees that's near the pond on the Kamakei Street side. He's literally set up house in the tree. He's got a hammock, he's got a bicycle, he's got all kinds of things. So I don't know who is responsible, but there are more and more of them at both entrances of the park, and it's infringing on the park users, the taxpayers who pay to keep the park nice. They are trashing the park. There's trash everywhere. And I'm not sure if that's your purview or not, but whoever's purview it is, somebody has to start taking action, because other people can't enjoy the park and its facilities. Also, at public storage at 1067 Kapiolani and Kamakei Street, they're living underneath the awnings once again, where AT&T is in the sushi spot. And it stinks to high heaven because they defecate and they urinate there and they don't care. It's just, something has got to be done. Thank you.
Sorry, which storage was that?
Public storage at Kamakei and Kapiolani Boulevard.
Okay.
The
I
name
can,
of it is public storage, yeah.
Okay. So I know that the officers will clear out the park. So they do a park closure for Ala Moana, and everybody should be out. They lock the gates and everything. I'm pretty sure they do routine patrols through after that. The ATVs will go through if they're out. But you know, there's so many ways to get back into that park.
I know.
Yeah. I'll mention it and I'll have them check on it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do want to acknowledge the arrival of members Hernandez and Morala at 6:05 p.m. Member Vanderbrink.
Hi, Sergeant. So I just had a question in relation to Kalakaua, between Kapiolani and South King Street. My building in that area overlooks the road, and last week, the week before, and the week before that, so about a 3-week period, there's been tons and tons of loud noises that I can only attribute to mufflers and other vehicles driving through, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes at night, sometimes 2 and 3 in the morning. I'm wondering if HPD is seeing an increase in noise complaints from that area.
It's hit or miss. I mean, if people don't call it in, we kind of don't really have a record of it. But you know, like noise complaints and stuff like that. But by the time the call comes in, the cars are usually gone. The only thing I can probably suggest is we just have the officers drive through a little bit more frequently when they can, in between calls. But
Okay.
as far as hard numbers is an increase in noise, I don't have that information for you right now because it's kind of hard to I guess document or track.
I understand. I don't necessarily want to like clock up 911 every time I hear loud noises, especially in the
Mhm.
late evening, middle of the night. But
Yeah.
is there a number I can call to report loud noise issues in the area?
It would be 911 and then they'll ask you for emergency or non-emergency.
Okay, so that's completely fine if there are loud noises in the middle of the
Yeah.
night in the area, like mufflers.
You can call. I mean, is it like racing or just cars with loud just loud mufflers just driving by?
On occasion, it sounds like racing, but it is both. It's just loud mufflers going off as cars are driving by, but I can definitely hear the engines revving and cars going by at high
Okay.
speeds.
Okay, so it's intentional then. It's not like cars with problems with the engines.
It doesn't appear to sound like that.
Okay. I'll note that and then I'll let the officers know.
All right, much appreciated.
Thank you, Member Vanderbrink. Any other questions from the board? Member Freenius.
Hi, Sergeant Higa. Thank you so much for being here with the update, as dismal as it seems. I just wanted to acknowledge whoever is spearheading the Safer Roads campaign. I saw that HPD had a presence this morning around the McKinley High School area, so thank you so much for that. And I hope that campaign is kicking off in the right start. Do you have any information that you would like to share or highlight this evening?
About that campaign?
Yes.
Actually, today is my first day back, so but I do know it's a step in the right direction. We're trying to handle all these traffic accidents, traffic problems, fatalities, and everything. So hopefully, as the program gets going, we should see results of our. I'm sorry, we should see results of our work and our presence and everything that we do out there. So it's just starting. I think it's a good thing. That way we can keep everybody safe and especially the kupuna and the young children, right? Across the pedestrians and everything. That's the main thing.
Thank you. Board members, any other questions? Do you have a question for HPD, sir? Okay. You can go ahead and introduce your name as well.
Hi, my name is Garrett Miata. I'm a resident of this area. My question is for Officer Higa. Recently, I got a parking citation. After reading the citation, one of the payment options was to mail in the payment inside an attached envelope. I remember these citations having an envelope, but the one that was left on my window was just a yellow copy. An online option was stated to be available, but when I followed the prompts to input the citation number, it came back as not available. I tried this method for about a week and a half and no luck. Since the deadline for the payment was coming up, I headed over to district court to make a payment in person. Out of what I think was about 15 windows at that service counter, 2 were manned, pulling a number for a place in line that was just frustrating as the digital number counter that was acting up. Long story short, I managed to get the attention of a clerk, and she said that the process depends on when the officer turned in his citation and when the courts uploads it to the system. It's frustrating because there was about half a dozen other people waiting for the same problem, no envelopes and nothing to turn in. And we want to pay the fine, but kind of get roadblocked for doing it. How do I go ahead and streamline that process?
So I apologize first of all for that. But the officers are supposed to leave envelopes so that you can respond to the citation because it goes hand in hand. Yeah, there's a sleeve that you actually rip off from the citation. You fill out the citation information, and then you're supposed to put that into the envelope along with your letter that you write or your payment.
That's correct.
As far as the sometimes the citations get lost or the officer doesn't turn it in, which they're supposed to turn it in at the end of the shift. I can follow up on it. As far as your individual citation, did you end up taking care of it at the court or?
Oh, I took care of it, yes. But I mean, like,
Okay.
I'm just wondering why, like, a lot of people that were trying to pay off the same, just the citation, just didn't have envelopes. And I understand that, the envelopes used to come with the ticket.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, yeah. The
I don't
old
know,
style.
I don't know if, I don't know if you guys are like trying to, save the envelopes or something, but I mean, everybody's kind of going in there wondering, or that, to just pay it,
Yeah,
the old fashioned way.
yeah. So the old style citations used to have the envelope included in the back. So these new citations that we have, the officer actually has to, when they sign out their citation books, they're actually supposed to take a stack of envelopes. So it's a book of 20, and they're supposed to get 20 envelopes. Some of them take a little bit more because sometimes they get wet or off. Sometimes people ask for, oh, I need an envelope, I lost it or whatever. So at least we have extra envelopes to give them if you get another problem, if something like that happens again, hopefully not. You can always ask an officer for an envelope and they'll give you one. They should
Okay.
have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Apologize though.
Thank you for being here this evening. Any other questions for Sergeant Higa?
Hi, my name's Lynn Mariano. I'm a member, resident here, District 2. Quick question, two. Again, I'm just coming back from a trip and I also see an increase in graffiti. Whenever there's a business that's shutting down or a house that's shutting down, within 72 hours, there's a bunch of graffiti. And it's an eyesore, and that's been a thing of mine. Second thing is during the tsunami, has there been any consideration to do reverse traffic? Particularly everything that goes from Makai to Mauka. When you look at all of the traffic, like going from Ala Moana Boulevard up to Nuuanu or any other place, well, like even, for example, Pensacola, and also those side streets. There's been delays and delays because people are trying to get out of businesses and homes. But has there been consideration or something to take a look at to block off the roads, that parallels the roads, and then doing reverse traffic, like for example Pensacola, and turning it in rather than going from Makai to Mauka to Makai, changing it around and having it from Makai to Mauka. Because if everyone's trying to get to high ground, you can eliminate the backlog and the traffic congestion. And if you look at all in this area from Waikiki all the way up to Nanakuli, there's a lot of one-way roads that goes from Mauka to Makai. And I think that's something that maybe HPD can look at it as part of emergency management. Because if the gist is to get people up to high grounds, particularly out of work, look at some of the traffic patterns that's going around to do that reverse engineering so that traffic can flow from Makai to Mauka.
Thank you, Mr. Mariano.
So as far as the traffic layout, that's a lot of coordination because you got the traffic lights, and you're gonna have to have officers manning intersections, as well as responding to calls. There's a lot of accidents when things like this happen. I can up channel the suggestion, and I can tell you it's above HPD. I mean, if they put it in the plan and everything, I'm sure if we can do select streets, I'm not sure. I'm saying I'm sure. I can possibly.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think
select-
if HPD can go ahead and work at Haima to try to work at that, and also the county emergency management to try to look at that, because again, it makes your job a lot easier by refunneling the traffic and reverse engineering.
Right.
Thank
Get
you,
you.
Mr. Mariano.
Thank you.
And thank you, Sergeant Higa, for being here this evening. Mr.
Thank you.
Washburn, does your question have to do with your presentation?
No, it has nothing to do with my
Okay.
presentation. It has everything to do with, can I raise this up a little? Okay, Sergeant, my name is Ian Washburn. I live on Atkinson Drive. The Alawai Promenade, the Alawai Canal between Ala Moana and Kalakaua has been taken over by homeless encampments for some months now. And a number of us in the neighborhood are very concerned. A lot of the women don't even want to walk through there anymore. And is there anything in your planning or something to not only sweep the encampments out, but to try to institute some regular patrols? And we're trying to get together some people to start a neighborhood patrol with the HPD. But in the meantime, can you please clean that place out? It's just really disgusting. I mean, we have photographs you wouldn't believe.
Thank you, Mr. Washburn. Sergeant Higa?
Thank you. Yeah, I can mention that to the different districts. So it'll be our district, District 1, and Waikiki District, because I'm think that's around the border area between our two districts. But I know when officers do encounter, we call them residentially challenged people, we do offer them a program called HONU, which is like a they're offered shelter, food. There's 24-hour security with police officers working over there, and the thing is they have to agree to go there. A lot of officers will come across these people and will offer them, you know, a chance to get enrolled in there. You can't just walk in. It's basically you have to be referred by an officer or a social worker. So when the officers do these checks or sweeps, so to say, they do offer them the opportunity to go to that HONO program, and they have like outreach workers. They help them get their birth certificates or copies of their birth certificates, IDs, and eventually transition into housing and get back on their feet. But a lot of them, they opt not to do it. So that's the hard part. So they end up getting pushed to the next area, or they leave for that time, and then they end up either coming back or they go to a different area. And it's just like a continuous circuit, basically. But I
So
can
there-
mention that area to the two districts, and hopefully we can get something set.
Are you not clear on which district the promenade falls into?
You know, I'm new. Honestly, I'm new to the district, so I can't picture the area right now. Are you talking about the bridge that goes?
Okay, do you know where the Hawaii Convention Center is?
Yes.
In back of the Hawaii Convention Center is
Oh,
a
okay,
very
okay.
beautiful promenade. It's called the Alawai Promenade. It's got a
Okay.
beautiful canopy of trees with breezes coming down the canal. It's a wonderful place to hang out, but these people live there. They defecate, they urinate, they fornicate, and they shoot up drugs. They leave the syringes around. I mean, we have photographs of everything, and we're wondering, with all this illegal activity, why is there no law enforcement?
Officers should be patrolling through that area. That is District 1. Now that
They're
you
not.
mentioned that area.
I'll tell you right now, they're not. They're not going down that promenade on foot or on some sort of motorized tricycle or something. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. We're just frustrated. We don't know what to do. And it's basically stealing public space from us who live in the neighborhood and would like to stroll down that area without the smell of urine and feces and watching somebody shoot up and watching people over there fornicating, et cetera, et cetera. So I think if I'm hearing you right, the HPD is powerless. Is that right?
No, not powerless, but we do offer them alternative means instead of just kicking them out and pushing them to the next spot.
Thank you, Mr. Higa. Mr. Washburn, thank you for that inquiry as well. And then, sorry, Sergeant Higa, if you can just make a note of that, and then we can likely follow up with it in the next meeting. So
Got it.
thank you for taking community concerns. Okay, the time is now 6:27. We are moving on to presentations. We have again, Mr. Ian Washburn from Atkinson Neighborhood Community Association regarding the developments regarding Central YMCA on Atkinson Drive. Mr. Washburn, we have the timer for you at 10 minutes.
Apologies for those online. We're just having some technical difficulties with the presentation.
Okay, hello. Sorry for the delay. I got here an hour early to set all this up, but obviously it didn't help too much. But anyway, I'm Ian Washburn. I'm from Atkinson neighborhood, and we're here to address the issues about the YMCA application for a zone change, the current one, and not the other one. So anyway, up on the screen that shows who we are. Atkinson neighborhood, nobody ever heard of it until 12 years ago when I invented the phrase. We are bounded on the north by both sides of Atkinson Drive. We're bounded on the east by Kalakaua and the Kalakaua Bridge. We're bounded on the west by Hawaii State Highway 92, which maybe you know as Ala Moana Boulevard and the Ala Moana Bridge. And on the south, we're bounded by the Alawai Canal and Promenade. Wait, back. Okay, let's start. The first question, look, first of all, let's establish, most of us in the neighborhood are dead against a zone change. They want to put in a 150-foot tall tower, apartment tower, and destroy what's left of the YMCA. The YMCA buildings are still structurally sound and can, in fact, be brought back to a fully functional recreation center as it has functioned since 1951 until 10 years ago when the YMCA curtailed all programs and activities and services other than the hotel that they run. And let's be clear, that is a hotel. Okay, so the question is, on your screen, what happened? I'm reading from that. Are the YMCA and RM Towel Corporation telling the truth? That's the basic question at first here. Whether intentionally or not, the YMCA and its agents have made many untrue, misleading, and contradictory statements over the course of the last 12 years regarding the status of the Central YMCA and the zone change process. The YMCA has also undertaken many illegal and unpermitted activities that run contrary to the public interest of their neighboring owners and of the many people who live in, work in, and visit Atkinson neighborhood. These misleading statements and omissions of material facts, together with the failure to legally notify all adjacent property owners, must cause the DPP to reject this application for zone change until these errors are corrected. Some curious statements about the status of the Central Y. Okay, curious statement number one is in the March 28th, 2024 Honolulu Star Advertiser newspaper, in his letter to the editor, YMCA Honolulu CEO Greg Wabel used the title, YMCA open and serving 100,000 plus annually. In that letter, he states, quote, in fact, the Central YMCA, and it has not been closed, the fitness area, pool, and gym were closed due to repairs. Is this statement true? The fitness area, pool, and gym were closed on February 28, 2015, 9 years before YMCA CEO Greg Wabel wrote that they were, quote, closed due to repairs, unquote. Must be some difficult repairs if they're taking 10 years to complete. It's not closed, it's shut. I mean, it's not repaired, it's shut down. Anyway, curious statement number two. This is from Hawaii Civil Beat, October 20th, 2024, quote, Honolulu YMCA ends rental subsidies for long-term tenants. The organization said it failed to reach its fundraising goal this year and can't afford to maintain the housing program at the Central Y. And then this is part of what they wrote, operating as a hotel. Ontai, that would be YMCA current interim president and CEO of the YMCA, said the organization is not required to give tenants 45 days notice of a rental increase as required in the state's landlord tenant code because the YMCA operates as a hotel and does not have a landlord tenant relationship with its guests. The key point here is her admission that the Central Y is operating at a hotel and not as a dormitory, homeless shelter, or anything else. Curious statement number three. No, number three, yeah. June 26, 2025, Mr. Isaiah Sato of RM Towel Corporation sent a letter to the Director of Department of Planning and Permitting, DPP, regarding consistency with the development plan and environmental assessment / environmental impact statements requirements. On page 2 of this letter, quote, background. The site is currently utilized as a recreation center and dormitory and consists of an existing 5-story rooming house with 115 dormitory units and a 3-story multi-purpose building with ground floor parking, a swimming pool, a gymnasium, and multi-purpose areas. Sounds great, right? Note, the site is not currently utilized or used as a recreational center, not for over 10 years, and a dormitory is not a hotel. Curious statement number 4 regarding status. On June 26, 2025, from the same towel letter from Mr. Sato to the DPP director, page 1, the applicant proposes to revert to the 2013 zone as well as terminating the unilateral agreement, otherwise known as the UA. So the proposal is to terminate the unilateral agreement that was attached to the 2013 zone change. Page 2, quote, all of the potential development partners expressed concerns and have moved on because of the existing restrictions that were intended for the 2013 Aloha Kai development project. The reply on our part is development partners, question mark. At the end of May 27th, 2025, this neighborhood board 11 heard the Y CEO, Mr. Wabel, say that the Y wants to sell the property and depart the neighborhood. In what way are they seeking development partners? Doesn't make sense. Okay, curious statement number 5. This is also part of that. In fact, they're all going to be part of that letter for a while here. The purpose of this zone change is to return the property to its original A2 zoning with a 150-foot height limit and to remove the existing restrictions. Reply. These are conditions, not restrictions. They're also known as covenants. Notice the applicant's use of the word restrictions for what are conditions, agreements, legal covenants that were freely entered into by the YMCA and signed by their CEO, their board chair, and Aloha Kai Development in July of 2013. Curious statement number 6. Applicant states in that same letter, consistency with, okay, skip that. I'm running out of time here. They're saying they want higher intensity mixed use development, discussion, rezoning the property back to A2. This is from him. A2 medium density, terminating the UA will restore development potential. Its location within the Todd area, that's transit-oriented development area, provides opportunities for future developers to increase densification through the construction of affordable housing, And our reply is, listen, Atkinson neighborhood is already way over maximum density. We're packed in there like sardines. Okay, curious statement number 7. Mr. Sato also wrote, terminating the UL will reestablish opportunities for future developers, et cetera, enhancing pedestrian activity and community use of the property's facilities. Our reply is, community use of the property's facilities. What does this mean? What facilities? The Y facilities haven't functioned for over 10 years. Curious statement number 7. Mr. Sato wrote, the project is not utilizing state or county lands or using state or county funds. The lot is privately owned and operated. Our reply is the private owner of the lot is the YMCA of Honolulu. It is to some extent publicly funded. The Central YMCA utilizes city, county, state, and federal funds in order to operate. These funds come in the way of direct government grants of money, as well as Hawaii state property tax and federal 501c3 tax advantages. So I don't know where that goes. Curious statement number 8. Mr. Sato states the project is not within a shoreline area. Technically, that is true, But our reply is, it's pretty close, though. In 2013, the YMCA agreed to create a pedestrian easement for public access to the LOI Promenade, a coastal and shoreline area. It was intended by the city council at that time to connect to the pedestrian easement from the YMCA property to the LOI Promenade across Yacht Harbor Tower property. It never built such an easement. In fact, in 2018, the YMCA blocked neighborhood public pedestrian access to the coastal and shoreline area of the LOI Canal, called the LOI Promenade, by secretly rescinding its
Mr. Washburn, if you can wrap up for the
Okay,
next
let me just
10
finish
seconds.
this paragraph. By secretly rescinding its easement agreement with Yacht Harbor Towers, which in 1969 had created a 5-foot wide pedestrian easement from the central YMCA property across Yacht Harbor Towers property to the LOI Promenade. We used to be able to walk there, in other words, from the neighborhood. Now we have to walk all the way around. It's about a quarter mile past Highway 92, Alameda Boulevard, and come in from either side. We used to have number two easements to the thing.
Okay,
And-
thank you, Mr. Washburn. And then we'll have your presentation up on our drive as well, so people are able to access it and read it. Thank you for your presentation. Next up, we have Mr. Isaiah Sato from RM regarding the central YMCA zone change. And Mr. Sato, you get 10 minutes as well.
Thank you, everyone, for having me today. Nice to see everyone again. My name is Isaiah Sato, and I work with RM Tao Corporation. We're the authorized agent for the, excuse me, for the Central YMCA zone change. So we're the planning consultant, essentially. So thank you for allowing me to attend this meeting and present our project. It's a fairly similar presentation to what we presented back in May. I wanted to give the opportunity for board members as well as the community to provide comments, and hopefully we can respond or address or answer, excuse me, some of Mr. Washburn's questions in the presentation. But so just from this first slide, I'm going to be talking about the Central YMCA zone change. Next slide, please. So to begin, I'd like to briefly talk about the YMCA of Honolulu, specifically YMCA of Honolulu. The YMCA is a fellowship dedicated to putting Christian principles into practice through programs that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. So I'm sure many people are very familiar with their programs, but it's from youth camps all the way to senior facilities, and they have many locations around the island: U'ano Y, the Kaimuki Y, the Mililani YMCA. So they're still very active in our local community. Next slide, please. This slide, excuse me, shows our location map. So kind of right in the middle of our screen, that blue piece is our Central YMCA site. So we're located at 401 Atkinson Drive. Kind of to orient yourself, we're right fronting Atkinson Drive. So that's right in front of us. The left side of the screen is Ala Moana Shopping Center. The bottom left is Ala Moana Beach Park. And then to the upper right is the Hawaii Convention Center. And of course, on the back side of us, on the Waikiki side, is the Alawai Canal there. So next slide, please. This slide shows a street view. If you're standing across Atkinson, so you're standing kind of in Ala Moana Shopping Center side on Mahukona Street. Atkinson Drive right in the front. And then it shows the main Y facilities right in the middle. Kind of in the upper left, you see Sunset Towers, our neighbor. In the back left, you see Atkinson Towers, and the behind and on the right is the Yacht Harbor Towers. But our project itself, or excuse me, the current Y, on the right is the dormitory, which was built in 1951. And on the left is parking, and there's the gymnasium, exercise room there as well. The next slide, please. So just a little bit of the history and current facilities there. So again, the site was originally dedicated back in 1951. So it's 74 years old, coming up this year. The lot area that we're currently left with is about 1.77 acres. So it's a fairly large site. The parcel used to be larger. It actually included Yacht Harbor Towers in the past, but in the past that was subdivided and sold and developed into Yacht Harbor Towers there. But the facilities on site, the one active facility or the main active facility is the 5-story rooming house, and there's 115 rooms. It's usually about 75% occupied. Most of the rooms are single occupancy, so it's about 90 residents on site at any given time. There's the 3-story multi-purpose building on the, I guess, the right side of this image here. And that has the parking, exercise room, and gym. So, as Mr. Washburn mentioned, those facilities have been closed as Y facilities. The pool is empty. The weight room and the gymnasium, like the basketball court gymnasium, hasn't been utilized since then. Next slide, please. So I wanted to talk briefly on the zoning history. So the zone change in 2013, Ordinance 13-34, that's what upzoned the lot. So in 2013, there was a zone change went from A2, medium density apartment, to AMX3, high density apartment mixed use. That zone change also increased the height limit from 150 feet to 350 feet. The density of the site went from what's normal in A2, 1.9 floor area ratio up to 2.8 floor area ratio. So this zone change also included the development that went along with the zone change, and that redevelopment included a residential tower. Is a 128 unit, 350-foot tower. That's just a quick clip of the elevation there, but it went up to 350-foot height. It also included a new YMCA facility. It's kind of a attached building, but right next to it, and that had a fitness center, multi-use rooms, aquatic center, admin offices, food concessions, and parking. So the YMCA at that time was partnering with the developer, Aloha Kai Development, to develop the new YMCA facility as well as the new residential tower there as well. And on the right is just an image from the ordinance that went through City Council. Next slide, please. So there's a lot of text on this slide. I wanted to just read it for everyone there, but the site was upzoned for a specific development being proposed by the development partner, Aloha Kai Development. However, after years of negotiation, the agreement between the Y and the developer was terminated. Ordinance 13-34 contained project-specific conditions based on the development being proposed by Aloha Kai Development. So the conditions were very catered to that specific development, and these conditions continue to run with the land. So they're there with the zone change. And they're related to the number of units allowed, 120 unit max, conditions on the vehicle and pedestrian access, street frontage requirements, design guidelines, and also the affordable housing requirements there. Over the years, the YMCA has received several inquiries to purchase and redevelop the property. However, all of the potential development partners or potential buyers expressed concerns with the ordinance 13-34, and they've moved on because of the restrictions that were intended for that Aloha Kai development. So in essence, right now we're kind of in limbo. We have these restrictions for a specific development, but it's just not feasible in the current market there. So the purpose of this zone change that we're requesting is to return the property back to its original A2 zoning and to remove the existing restrictions that were placed on the property by the previous upzone. So 2013, we went up to 350-foot height, and now we're going back down to 150 foot. Next slide, please. This slide shows two maps. The one on the left is what was included with the previous zone change there. So as you can see, the lot is in A2, and it went from A2 150-foot height to AMX3 350-foot height limit. We're going backwards, which is the zone change on the right, and we're going from AMX3 down to A2. So you can kind of see the zoning in our vicinity. Ala Moana and a lot of the development, more Malka to us, is in the BMX, business mixed use zone, right in our area, A2, which includes the neighboring towers are all within the A2 zoning district there. So by going back to A2, we be in line with the surrounding properties. Next slide, please. I wanted to briefly talk about the timeline, or really the entire zone change process, and kind of touch upon the different points when, or different steps we go through and different times that the public has the opportunity to comment, at different steps in the process. So starting from the far left, that's prior to submitting the application. So one of the first things we do is go to neighborhood board meeting. We did our first presentation in May. We're back here at this meeting. We do a pre-application meeting is what they call it with the Department of Planning and Permitting there. We've done that meeting. The bottom two, the EIS determination. So that's the environmental assessment, environmental impact statement determination. So we send a letter to the department and they confirm if an EA or EIS is required. For us, the department confirmed that there is no EA, EIS requirement for this zone change. The bottom one on the left is DP determination, which is a development plan determination. That one also was submitted to the department, where they responded that there is no requirement to change the development plan, which is primary urban center, with this zone change there. The next step, on the second step, is when it goes to public agency review. So this is we're between steps right now, because right now we're in the process of preparing our application. We haven't submitted that to DPP. We're hoping to in the next month or sooner, but we haven't submitted that yet. But once we submit, it really kickstarts the DPP review process. At that time, DPP reaches out to other agencies, organizations, the board, and interested parties to solicit feedback and comments, and they ultimately prepare their recommendation for Planning Commission. The next step goes to Planning Commission, another 2 to 3 months. They hold a hearing there, and the Planning Commission makes a recommendation to City Council. And lastly, on the far right, it goes to City Council, where they hold hearings on the bill or an ordinance, and ultimately it goes to the mayor's office for signatures. So it's a pretty lengthy process. At the public agency, Planning Commission, and City Council, there's opportunities to provide comment or testify at the hearings. Next slide, please. Well, thank you for having me. I just wanted to end with my contact information in the bottom left, and call, email there too. And really wanted to reiterate that the goal of this is really to remove the UA and outdated restrictions that were tied to the past project there, and to make the site, more attractive to potential redevelopment or development there. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sato, for being here this evening. So let's start with the board. Any questions? Member Chang. And Member Green.
The Yacht Harbor Towers, do you have the information on their density for those towers?
I don't exactly. Yeah, I know it's 2 towers. The lot it's fairly large. I can get that. I can look that.
The reason why I asked is that's probably higher than 150 feet.
Yeah, I'd have to do some research into
The only reason I asked is, you're basically lowering yours to match the rest of the neighborhood aside from the Yacht Harbor Towers. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we're going back to what the underlying zone is.
Just want to make sure I understood.
Thank you, Member Chang.
Thank you, Member Chang. Member Farinas.
Just to clarify, it is the wise intention to sell the property as opposed to investing money into upgrading it. And that's where you folks come in terms of proposing the rezoning change. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this first step they're really just going for the zone change, and they're, looking to the future. I think the goal is to sell. In the past, in 2013, it was kind of a mixed bag because they partnered with a developer. The developer was going to build, their tower, but they were also going to build a new YMCA facility on the site. And the YMCA was going to keep a corner of their site with the new facility, and the developer would have the new development. So I'm not saying that's not on the table, but that's not currently being explored. But I think they're really just want to move forward with the site. Like as Mr. Washburn stated, that the site's been closed as a Y facility. The pool has been an exercise room. Have been closed for 10 years now, and they're wanting to move forward.
Thank you. Member Rice.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Why did the Y, maybe you don't have the answer, but I can't remember from the presentation in May, but why did the Y close all the facilities? Was it because they didn't have the funds to do the necessary repairs? They didn't have enough usage? Does anybody know why the pool, the recreation area, the gym, all of that is closed? And now it's painted like a very unattractive paintings on the side of the building. I don't know who allowed that. I don't think that is allowed without permits. It's not like the powwow murals in Kaka'ako where it's real art. This is just someone who thinks they're an artist. And to me, it's very unattractive. I got photos if anybody would like to see them. It's ticky-tacky. It's not the way a community should be at all.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Member Rice, for that question. I'm not specifically familiar with what happened back in that time and the decisions with why, but at that time, 2013, they were still planning on redeveloping it. And when they were closing it, they were, planning on closing it for redevelopment. And I think when the discussions fell through, they kind of had to pivot from there and decide where to move forward. And that's where we eventually landed today. But they at that time, the decision was, to redevelop, don't put more money into fixing it up at this time.
Into the facility. Thank you. How tall, how many stories is 150 feet? Thank you.
Yeah, it's about 15, about 10 per floor, 10 feet a floor. About.
Thank you, Member Rice. Board members, any other questions? Okay, well, Mr. Sato, you had on your timeline, public input. Is this the only avenue that people can do public input? Or are you folks holding something at some point down the line before it goes over to council?
So this is the last public input before we submit the DPP. There's a lot of time between DPP and getting to council. So DPP, at any time you can send them a message once the application's in, and they can log the comment, in the record there. When it goes to Planning Commission holds a public hearing, and the public can come and attend the public hearing, testify to be on the record. At City Council, bills go through, multiple council hearings. Usually there will be, at least multiple full council and a few zoning committee hearings. So there's opportunities.
Thank you. Member Hernandez and then Member Rice.
Did RM Towel represent the Y during the zone in 2013?
No, we did not.
Do we know who did? Or do you know?
Yes, I have to have it in my notes. I gotta look back at who it was exactly, but it wasn't our company.
Okay, I'm just wondering if there's a record that we can see. How did the community feel about upzoning to that height and allowing the city apparently agreed with that upzone, and which I'm sure must have been controversial at the time as well, or I imagine that it might have been controversial.
Yeah, during the upzone, they did get a good amount of public comment. Eventually, the zone change did go through. All of that documentation is a public record, so it's at the department. We can request a copy if you're interested.
And can you address the removal of the UA? How does that fit into it?
Yeah, so just zone change 101 is generally zone changes come with a unilateral agreement that are tied to it. So for our site, the bill went through City Council, and then we also recorded this unilateral agreement on the site. But the unilateral agreement runs with the land, so it stays there. If you want to develop something else, you still have to meet the conditions because it's there on site. So what we're asking is to remove the UA, so we would go back and process a cancellation.
Thank you, Member Hernandez. Board members, any other questions? Member Rice.
Thank you. How can this neighborhood board be notified of the opportunity for the public hearings and all of that, rather than us having to chase down? I would think it's incumbent upon people who wish to redevelop that space to inform the board when there's a public hearing or when there's an opportunity to have the public come and share their thoughts. Can you provide that information to us at least 2 weeks in advance?
I could provide that.
Will you provide it?
Yeah, I can provide
Okay.
that. So the public hearing. Yeah.
Thank you. We look forward to receiving that.
Thank you, Member Rice. Member Chi online?
Thank you. Sorry, I dropped my question into the chat as well, but this is kind of piggybacking off of Member Rice's question, I believe it was. But just it would be helpful to know what sort of public and community engagement has gone into the wise decision making for this. I understand that there's kind of there's multiple people saying different things, and it would be helpful to kind of know the history of that engagement, and to be able to help base decision making off of that as well.
So Member Chi, just to clarify, the question was what what, if any, public engagement did the Y have with the community regarding this process? Is that the question?
Yes, or if RM Towel has had any sort of community engagement as well, both would be helpful to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have the answer for that, Member Chi. I can talk to the Y, and we can get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from any board members? Okay, let's move on to a couple of questions from the community members. Mr. Washburn?
Okay, Mr. Sato, did you send a letter to one of our Atkinson neighbors, Kevin Brown, an email that said we had one of our staff members, he wanted to know, have you notified our owners about these meetings, these NB11 meetings? And did you write, we had one of our staff members hand deliver a copy of the letter to the manager at Yacht Harbor Towers? Our staff didn't get his name. We also mailed a copy to Hawaiian Properties Limited and the site address. Is that from you?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and a follow-up question. Are you aware that under the terms of the revised ordinance of Hawaii and also DPP's own regulations, that you were supposed to and are supposed to provide a written copy of your notification letter to each and every owner of adjoining properties? Yacht Harbor Tower has about 450. Our tower has about 80. Atkinson Tower has about 127. So it's about 650 households. Are you aware that that this does not constitute legitimate delivery of that letter?
Thank you, Mr. Washburn, for that question. And I can help clarify the notification that went out for the May meeting as well as tonight's meeting. So prior to the May meeting, we mailed one letter per lot. So it's just 3 letters, one to each property, one to each neighboring property, excuse me, which is typical protocol for these types of applications. We heard some feedback from the community that wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to hear us at the neighborhood board. So we went out and, excuse me, we distributed letters 3 different ways. This last time we sent one to each site. We sent the second copy of the letter to the associations. So, excuse me, it was Associa and Hawaii. We sent for Yacht Harbor Towers, we sent a letter to the Hawaiian Properties Limited, and for Atkinson and Sunset Towers, we mailed a notice to Associa. So those 2 were both via mail, written letters. We wanted to, make sure people got the letters. So we sent one of our staff to the site as well to help try to find someone on site. For 2 of the sites, Yacht Harbor Towers and Sunset Towers, we were able to hand deliver to a manager on site. At Sunset Towers, there was no personnel available. So we found a bulletin board and we kind of just posted it there as well. So we really tried to get it out in different ways.
just one more question.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. If I can get the question online first before we go back to you. There's a Lisa online, community member that had a question. Lisa online regarding a question? If not, we'll go ahead and move back to Mr. Washburn. Okay, Mr. Washburn.
Sato seems to have evaporated. Mr. Sato? Oh, there he is. So I have just another question. It seems to me that what part of your justification for asking for this new zone change is that the old zone change was tied to a specific project, the Aloha Kai development project. Is that how it looks from your point of view?
We're asking for a zone change to help utilize the site. I mean, in its current state, realistically, nothing is buildable or feasible on the site. So that's why we've had the current facility in its current situation. So looking to move forward with the site and the zone changes, something that will assist that process.
Okay, thank you for not answering my question. Listen, right above in 2013, I have a copy of the bill that was actually passed into law. The last thing it says before the signatures of the YMCA CEO at the time, his chairman of the board or chair of the board, and also Aloha Kai signed off on this. The last paragraph in this from the city said, and this is part of the law, and it is expressly understood and agreed that the conditions imposed, not restrictions, conditions imposed on this in this declaration shall run with the land. That means it does not matter who owns or develops the property. Those conditions are now part of the property. To say that these conditions were offered because it was somehow tied to that specific project back in 2013 is misleading at best. And I'm not saying anybody's intentionally misleading. I'm not saying they're not. But anyway, it's not, by law, it's not tied to any particular project. And that is a nice approach that RM Towell and Mr. Sato take, but it is not the correct approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Washburn, and Mr. Sato for being here this evening and letting the board. Member Rice.
Thank you. One more question, Mr. Sato. Have you ever considered approaching the city to acquire the land and to maybe redevelop it into housing for people who need housing? I know it isn't the moneymaker that the Y would like to have, but considering the fact that there are 650 households that don't seem to be thrilled with this project to move forward and even at the A2 level of 15 stories, maybe somebody else, the city could possibly consider taking it over and converting it and making really good use of that property. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rice. And that's a good idea. And I'll bring it up with the YMCA team to potentially approach the city. I do know, though, that the city would have to go through this same process. So, yeah.
What their objectives are. They can maintain what they have now and do something good. Housing. Everybody.
Thank you, Member Rice. And Mr. Sato, thank you for being here. This seems like a longer conversation, so we may add this to our action committee agenda, but we do appreciate everyone coming out here tonight so we can hear the various sides of this particular issue. So thank you all. The time is now 7:07. Let's move on to board business. We have the filling of board vacancies. We have one vacancy in sub-district 4. Do we have any nominations or interest?
Hello, my name is Chris Chung. I previously served on this board for multiple terms. Just a little history. So fortunately, we were able to form the action committee with the previous chair. I'm so happy that it's still going on now for about 10 years later. So I feel glad to have contributed to the institutional vitality of this board. In addition, we were able to secure $100,000 to upgrade the promenade. that was discussed earlier tonight. So I'm so proud and happy of the things that I've done in the past with this board. Bring up to the present, I am very aware that the sub-district that I've previously represented includes key parts of the city. That would be the emergency room at Straw. It would include the police station, the main police station with the jail. It includes Kaka'ako Park, where previously we had one of the largest homeless encampments in the state. So in the course of my multi-term service on the board, we've addressed many of these issues with the police, with the emergency room and the traffic that's generated from there, the homeless encampments, and none of those problems are ever going to go away. This is a constant rejuvenation process of the city, and I hope to be of service in the future. A little bit more about myself. So I've been involved in community organizing in this city of Honolulu since the 1970s. Okay, so I've been here through multiple mayoral terms, starting with Fosse, all the way up to the present day. So I hope to bring to bear that perspective long-term, as well as my previous service on the board, to the future of this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chung. Any other interest? Okay, so we would need to have a nomination for Mr. Chung in order for us to vote for it. Question
I
from the board.
nominate Mr. Chung to rejoin the board.
All right, let me go back real quick. No.
Jump
That was
the gun.
my apologies. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Member Rice. Nomination has
I
been-
nominate Mr. Chung to rejoin Neighborhood Board number 11. I was delighted to see you here.
Okay, thank you for that nomination. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, we're now closing the nomination for Subdistrict 4, and we will go ahead and do a roll call vote regarding Mr. Chung's nomination.
Okay, if you'd like to elect Chong, Chris Chong, you can say his last name. Chang,
Yes.
Chong, you can say his last. Okay, Chi,
Chung,
Farinas, Hashimoto, Hernandez, Morella,
Chong.
Rand,
Chung.
Rice,
Chung.
Vanderbrink,
Chung.
Chair Lee.
Chung.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ayes and 0 abstentions.
Hey, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Christopher Chung, and welcome back to the Moana-Kaka'ako Neighborhood Board.
Thank you, board members.
Chair Lee, if we could recess for 1 minute to.
Recess for board matters.
Figure out the link. I saw his.
What?
But
Well,
basically, just one.
you know.
And
You
then,
guys ready?
I mean,
Okay, Moana-Kaka'ako Neighborhood Board, regular meeting is now back in session. Moving on to board business 4.2, approval of the July 22nd, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Does anyone have any comments, questions, edits, concerns? Member Farinas?
Thank you, Chair Lee. I move to accept the minutes as is, with the stipulation that Ms. Eppa make those 2 corrections that I brought to your attention, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other edits, board members? Okay. Anyone opposed to the meeting minutes being approved? Okay, good to go. Thank you, board. August 2025 Action Committee meeting updates. I will turn the mic over to Member Vanderbrink. Member Rice.
Thank you. And Dale, thank you so much, Member Dale Vanderbrink, for handling the minutes of the last meeting and following through with them. I appreciate that a lot. So it was a really great meeting that went on for quite a while. We talked about the tsunami evacuation, community discussion. A little bit of that was presented here. I think that requires a little more in-depth from the city and state officials. So what action should the board take? How do we allow relevant officials to hear and respond to community concerns? This is obviously the perfect forum for that. And do we need any board resolutions? I'm not so sure. I think what we kind of came to fact with the HNL alerts and that everybody should sign up for that because that works really, really well. So we'll follow through on that with the Department of Transportation, like former member Mariano mentioned, changing maybe the evacuation routes or something like that. That goes much deeper than this board, which we all talked about at the meeting. So we'll follow through on that and perhaps even discuss with Mr. Sullivan from the mayor's office how we can move the needle on that, which you put in our notes. Ala Moana Regional Park Annual Cleanup Day. We decided that we'd like to do an annual cleanup day, either November 15th or November 22nd, which is a Saturday. You'll be going, correct. That means you have to do double next year. So we need to reach out to various officials at the city and county level, and we need to follow through on that. I'm also been in touch with the Friends of Kiwalos, who does a cleanup at Kiwalo Basin every year, and got some good ideas, which I'm still gathering information. So, and also getting some school groups like McKinley High School or any other groups that use it. I also thought it would be a good idea to, well in advance of the cleanup day, is station some of us at the entrance, Atkinson Drive and Kamakei Street, and hand out a little notice. Come and join us for cleanup day, but do it weeks in advance so people know to come. And I think we'll get a lot of good participation in that way. That was a brainstorm I had this morning, so it's not in the minutes. Number 4, does the board need more communication in regard to actions in our neighborhood? Examples include lacking of prior notification of the Sheraton Park parking situation. I think anytime we can communicate or receive communication is always helpful. So also the office to residential conversion, the 765 Amana Street building. Where do we go to get that kind of information to see how we can better communicate? And then the road work on Kapiolani Boulevard from Harding to Atkinson, that's Department of Transportation. I shared with Member Vanderbrink the emails that I get from the DOT, which I find very helpful. I get like 2 of them every Friday, I think it is, or Thursday. Those are really cool. So you can sign up for those at DOT and learn more about road closures. It's many bullet points of many all around the island where there'll be road closures or construction taking place overnight or daytime. I find it very helpful. So I think we should do more of that and share more of that as we learn about it. Neighborhood board participation in upcoming parades, which has yet to be voted on. We were looking at the Pride Parade, which I think would be fabulous, as well as the Christmas Parade with the mayor. And we also thought that maybe the mayor would like to invite all the neighborhood boards to participate and support him in his efforts, because that's what we do. We're a tentacle of the mayor's office. So maybe you'd like, Mr. Sullivan, if you would check with whoever at the mayor's office, how can the neighborhood boards participate in the Christmas parade? It would be a lot of fun. Neighborhood board visits and community outreach. Kaka'ako Farmers Market. We had a team from this board participate on the 9th. Does anybody want to share how they felt about the reception they received from the people who attended the farmers market?
Thank you, Member Rice. Yep, so as one of the people that was there, I think it was a very exciting event. We got probably a little over a dozen people 15 or so people that stopped by to talk, say hi, and find out more about the neighborhood board. And hopefully that will definitely have more people engaging because they weren't necessarily from our neighborhood, they're from the surrounding communities. So not for just our neighborhood board, but the surrounding boards as well. But I think it was a success. And I think we tried to talk about at the event itself, possibly doing it every Saturday before a neighborhood board to try and talk about our upcoming agenda as well.
That's great. You don't want to say anything?
Yeah, I think it did very well in informing people around my age about the neighborhood board. I was always a bit curious on how people would be eventually led to being able to speak here, but a big interest of mine is the 5 towers that are coming up in Kaka'ako currently in the Boulder Village projects. And I think this is a nice step in welcoming people potentially into the neighborhood. I know the Ulana Tower is coming in December. So yeah, I think it's definitely a way for our neighborhood board to at least have more of a presence than we have currently.
Thank you both. Other locations, the whole idea is to get people more aware of our neighborhood board. When I walked in this evening, I was really excited to see so many people here because usually there isn't that many people. So thank you all for attending. I know some of you are here with your own agendas, but we'd like to have more community involvement and be aware of what we attempt to do here at this neighborhood board. Other locations to do similar thing like at the farmer's market is Sam's Club. I'm waiting for the approval to come back from Sam's Club and do that once a month. Ward Village doesn't seem so inclined to allow us to do this unless we want to fly under the radar. So I'd like to ask if we can try to put a little pressure on Ward Village so we can at least once a month have a little table for a few hours from 8 to noon. So we can be there and share a lot of, like you said, a lot of people, especially younger people, don't have a clue what the neighborhood boards are all about. So here we can help. And it would support Howard Hughes and their whole agenda. Ala Moana Shopping Center, that's a hard nut to crack, but I'm still trying to crack it. And SALT, that shouldn't be too difficult. I haven't had a chance to reach out to them yet. So that's all really great. Old business, continuation of the Action Committee initiatives, the Department of Parks and Recreation Dog Survey. We need to get a hold of Miss Emma Davis, who used to be on the board, who created the whole survey. We're having trouble accessing the results. So she's living now in Milan, Italy, but there's this wonderful thing called email. So hopefully we'll hear back from her shortly and be able, because we need to provide the results of the survey to Director Laura Thielen of City County Parks and Rec. So more on that soon. Neighborhood board newsletter, that we kind of set aside so we can have further discussion. Is it really necessary? It's a lot of work and we all have other activities throughout the day. So we have to see if we can figure that one out. So that one's just pushed aside for the moment. Yeah.
Does it work now? Okay. I believe we made a point on furthering developing our Instagram page instead of a newsletter. Looking for ways to engage the community, learn about community events and posting things through there. So that was an idea we were talking about.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. And then from Sugar Hawaii, small business thefts, further steps, request to have someone from the prosecutor's office to come to this board and listen to our concerns and perhaps answer some questions. So Chair Lee, we'd like to ask you for your help in reaching out to the prosecutor's office to have them attend one of our meetings, hopefully soon. The resolution on that, I think we need to set that one aside. Town hall, including elected officials and someone from the prosecutor's office, yeah. Vacant lots. vacant lots. Still pending more information from DPP for those that are here. There are a number of vacant lots in our neighborhood district that have been vacant for years and years and years. Developer says they're going to develop, but they don't develop. So how long can a property sit vacant and be an eyesore in any community is what we'd like to learn more about. So we're still following up on that. And we're drafting a response. Wait. Did we ever get, Member Vanderbrink, did we ever hear back from DPP about the list of properties?
I believe Mr. Sullivan at the last meeting said they responded late, so he couldn't get quite an answer. So I'm not sure if he has an update at this meeting or if we have to wait for the next one. We'll have to.
We'll wait for your report.
wait.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. A lot of notes from this meeting. Community concerns. Concerns were also about the artwork at the Y and traffic if residential units are to be built. Interest in seeing if our area can have more refillable reservoirs in our areas and using the rainwater instead of just letting it run off into the ocean. We really didn't get too far on that. And then with Mr. Washburn and Mr. Sato's presentations today, I think we're just going to have to sit tight on those. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rice, for that wonderful update. Board questions on the Action Committee meeting. Member Hernandez.
Yes, I believe we also talked about the fact that Kaka'ako Ala Moana is a transit-oriented development zone, and that we really wanted to invite DTS to give a presentation to sort of update where we are about transportation and the fact that our district is perhaps on the entire island, the most transit-oriented zone in the entire island. So we'd really like, recently, John Nuuchi of DTS was on the Insights program, and he said that one of the ways neighbors could get response would be to reach out to DTS and have them make a presentation on what's happening with complete streets. At the last meeting, we talked about some pedestrian crossing concerns in our walkable neighborhood. So just make a note of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hernandez. And if anyone would like to do the farmer's market, would like to attend our farmer's market presence again, we'll just need to let them know a week in advance. So I'll send you folks an email to whoever would like to volunteer for the next one for September. Thank you, Member Rice, and all the board members and the committee members who attended the Action Committee meeting. Okay, moving on for consideration of resolutions. So we have two resolutions. We don't have two, and I think oh, sorry, apologies. Our presence in upcoming area parades. Let me turn this over to Member Vanderbrink.
Thank you, Chair. So with the upcoming parades, I just want to make sure we go through the formal process of actually agreeing as a board in and of itself to participate in the parade. So if it's all right, I would like to make a motion for us to participate in the upcoming Pride Parade and to make a commitment to participate in the upcoming Christmas Parade as well. Thank you, Member Hernandez.
Thank you, Members Vanderbrink and Hernandez. We'll just go through it quickly. Is anyone opposed? Okay, it looks like we've made a commitment to participate, so we'll go through the process of figuring out how we are going to get in those parades. Thank you, Member Vanderbrink. Okay, moving on, consideration of resolutions. So this is to place this on our radars again. I'm not seeking for us to vote on this, but just to give us an idea of what is on the horizon. So the first one is, this is actually from the Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board 15. It's a resolution urging for expanding eligibility for the Hawaii Community College Promise Program. I think everyone, you folks have copies of the resolution. If this is something the board would like to take up, we could place this on our agenda again for next month. Ms. Gomes, are you able to place the resolution online? Okay, so the gist of the resolution is for the Community College Promise Program and student aid. Is this of interest to the board? Is this something that we'd like to take up? Member Vanderbrink?
Yes, for the resolution urging the expansion of eligibility for the Hawaii Community College Promise Program. I think it is an interest to try and make it more affordable as well as to increase attendance to community college. So I would be of interest in our board taking it up.
Thank you, Member Vanderbrink. Any other comments from any other board members? Okay, let's move on to the second resolution. This is the Neighborhood Board Resolution supporting justice reform, victim protection, and community accountability. I think the folks who were at the action committee mentioned that Mr. James Gishin of Sugar Sugar Hawaii, who had presented to our board a meeting or two ago, drafted this. So I would like for you to review it, and if this is something that we'd like to place back on the agenda for voting next month or the following meetings, let me know, Member Vanderbrink.
Yes, I'd just like to add on. I know the resolution here lists a number of acts and bills, so I think it would be an interest of us just to get a breakdown of those bills, just to make sure we have a full understanding of what they are, since we are here to this resolution is advocating either for or against these acts.
Thank you. And I do want to note that Mr. Gishin had mentioned that he is still in talks with various stakeholders. So this may get a bit more edited, but as long as the board is able to get an idea of where this is going, we can place it on our next agenda. Mr. Hernandez, Member Hernandez.
I just wanted to concur with Member Vanderbrink that it is a little unclear if there are specific bills or acts. So I think we'll want to see some clarity around that before we vote on it.
Thank you, Member Hernandez. Any other board members? Member Chang.
Yeah, I concur.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our discussion for the consideration of the two resolutions. Attendance at other meetings. I know there have been a few. Does anyone want to talk about their attendance at other meetings? Member Rice.
So I attended my first Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting. Very interesting to me. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, so it was even more interesting as a result. For the most part, there wasn't anything really that impacts our neighborhood from this. The main focus of the meeting for this particular meeting was on the Haleiwa Haleiwa site analysis and selection presentation. And they spent a great deal of time on that, which I found interesting, but it isn't prevalent to our neighborhood whatsoever. And and then there was if you recall, a couple of months ago, we had the folks from the bus come and present all the new routes that were going to be discontinued or routes that were going to be implemented, which was extremely helpful. So they went through that whole same presentation again, which there were a lot of good questions from those who attended. And it's really information that's almost, you just have to wait for it to come about. Quite honestly, it was very informative, though. It was really helpful. So I appreciated that. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, really nothing that impacts our neighborhood. So thank you. And then there was another meeting this past Tuesday that was arranged by members of people who live in the Kaka'ako Ward Village area. And it was regarding HCDA's Hawaii Community Development Authority purchase of the land at where Jack in the Box and the Gallagher Law Building is, which is the corner of Kapiolani Boulevard and Ward Avenue. And Craig Nakamoto from HCDA made a very detailed, very good presentation, basically gave a lot of history about who and what HCDA is and what they do. And for a lot of people that were in attendance, it was a very large crowd. I think it was about, Lori, would you think it was about 250, 300 people? Yeah, it was very nice, nicely attended. And so a lot of people I don't think were aware of what HCDA does and what their agenda is. So he was able to talk up to that quite eloquently and all the projects that they do, which also includes not on this island. There's also projects that they do on Maui. But the focus was basically on their current Kaka'ako affordable housing projects. There's one at 952 Kwaiau Street and one at 955 Waimanu Street. And it was just more informational than anything else. There was no voting. There was no yay or nay. There was just a lot of community back and forth, a lot of good questions. So I think that HCDA has their work cut out for them, but that's okay. I think they're used to that. Also, there was conversation about the 99-year leasehold condominium at 567 Queen Street. I'm sorry, that's HCDA's address at Jack in the Box site. Thank you. Thank you. So that's a 99-year lease. So there were a lot of questions about what happens once the 99 years are up and how all that works. Then there was also conversation about where the HECO, Hawaiian Electric Company plant is across from the Blaisdell on Ward. And that project was not voted on by the legislature, so that will not be moving forward. So it was a really good meeting, and I'm wondering if maybe Francine Murray may be adding more when it's her turn to speak tonight, if she's here. And but I think everyone needs to know what's going on respectively in their neighborhood and to sign up for HCDA meeting notices. And you can attend via Zoom, which is great. And you can learn more about what's coming down the pike. This was the first of community meetings. I would imagine, Member Farinas, maybe you can elaborate. Were there going to be any future meetings on the Jack in the Box site?
Thank you, Member Rice. Just to be clear, this was not a HCDA sponsored meeting. It was more a gathering of residents. And to keep in tune with what's going on with HCDA is just go to their website and just log on there, and they'll inform the community where their upcoming meetings are to discuss this. But it was quite a very informal, but yet a large gathering, again, of just residents. And I don't know exactly who spearheaded it, but yeah, it was residents and it wasn't via the Hawaii Community Development Authority. So that was wonderful on that note. So again, just to encapsulate, go to the HCDA website, and there you can find perhaps even, Francine, if you're here, perhaps even a copy of the presentation that was given that evening.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we can invite Director Nakamoto to come back and give us updates as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who attended the meeting want to say something? Member Hernandez.
Yes. So one of the things that I noticed about that meeting, it was not an HCDA meeting. In my building, we found out about it because a notice was slipped under our door. So it was a kind of a curious way that it came about. The slides that you have also, to my knowledge, are not available on the HCDA website. And so generally the public doesn't have access to that. And so it would be good if HCDA could make those available for the public. One of the other topics of conversation that came up, they are displacing a gym on Waimanu Street for a redevelopment of an affordable housing property. And they noted that for the short term, they had selected a community nonprofit known as the Kupuna Shed that would be taking over the space once the gym was evicted. There were quite a number of members of the gym who were concerned why they were being evicted. Mr. Nakamoto didn't have any clear information about how it was that Kupuna Shed was selected to be the replacement tenant for a period. He indicated it was could be as short as a few months to as much as a few years. So a lot was unknown about that. At the meeting, though, they did say it was requested by former Representative Scott Psyche. He had requested of Mr. Nakamoto to make the presentation. And along with Council Member Dos Santos Tam was kind of acting in a facilitating role. There was no members of the media present. It was not recorded. I'm not sure who got the email list. They passed out an email list to sign in. And so it's kind of curious as to who owns that email list. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Hernandez. Anyone else who attended the meeting?
Hi, this
Okay.
is Francine.
Hi, Ms. Murray.
Hi, I didn't attend the town hall last week, but the slideshow is on the website on the homepage. It's Kaka'ako Community Development District informational update, and it's the slides from that evening. I'll put a link to it in the chat.
Thank you, Ms. Francine Murray. Okay, any other board members want to talk about their attendance at other meetings? Member Van der Brink.
Yes, thank you, Chair. During the same time as that town hall, there was actually also a Common Cause town hall up the street at the Capitol Modern. So one reason why I wasn't able to attend yours. I thought it was a very good discussion on good governance and campaign finance reforms, voter registrations, and other initiatives. There was Representative Bellotti and Senator Awa. And why I bring this up is especially going into session next year and then the election as well. It might be good to actually hear some of these proposals that they're going to be pushing for in the legislature that I know our board was definitely interested in last year. And so I got to catch up with the Common Cause Director, Cameron Hurt, to talk about possibly coming and doing a presentation for us in October timeframe. So I'll keep in touch with him to try and see if we can put that on so we can hear more of these initiatives that they'll be pushing in the legislature.
Okay, thank you, Member Van der Brink. Okay, if no one else has anything to say about attendance at other meetings, we are moving on to sub-district reports. Does anyone have any sub-district reports? Member Chang.
Okay, update just in our neighborhood. I reported previously that Non was working in the area. So a couple things. Number one, the street lights on Leona Street still out. I did communicate with Non and they keep blaming Hawaiian Electric, and apparently Hawaiian Electric keeps blaming them. So I asked them weeks ago to find a way to get at least maybe some temporary lights on that street. Because if you're turning onto Leona Street from Keamoku, it's pitch black. And on top of that, Non parks big equipment on the street, which I don't know how they get away with it. They just park it there. And there used to be a no parking sign over there, but that's gone. So it would be a really good idea because of the danger. I reported, I complained to Senator Moana-Kaka'ako that they had 6-inch deep holes in the asphalt. And they had put up some cones, but the cones fell into the hole. So actually, when I pulled in, I had to slam on the brakes or else I would have gone in the hole. Anyway, they finally put some metal plates on top. And then this past week, they actually paved the street, but they only paved part of it. And I got a response from Non, and they said, for the roadwork repairs, our scope was limited to the areas identified in the city approved plans and specifications, which has to address the impacts of construction. What about the rest of the streets? I mean, they've been traversing Leona Street, Keamoku Street, Rycroft Street, and Ahana Street. And those streets are wrecked. I mean, they've been bringing heavy equipment through those streets, carrying all kinds of materials, and the streets are wrecked, along with some of the curbing. And these things need to be addressed because it wasn't that way before they did the construction. It is that way now. So maybe Ben, you can take something about that back and expand their scope to have them pave the adjacent streets around the development, because all that heavy equipment is going to take a toll on the roads. And again, the roads were fine before they started. Now it's pretty messed up. So it would be good for them, city, to identify the other areas of surrounding streets to have them paved. And then it would be really nice if they cannot get together with Hawaiian Electric on figuring out the light situation, put something up temporarily, at least for the safety of the drivers as well as the pedestrians in the area. And lastly, when are they going to open the sidewalks? They still got the sidewalks all blocked off. And so everybody has to cross Keamoku Street to get to the other side. And if you've gone on Keamoku Street, it's a busy street. It's the main road going into Ala Moana Center and out. So it would be really nice if they could open up at least the sidewalk on Keamoku Street so that people can just walk straight down and instead of having to cross over on a marked sidewalk that borders Leona Street. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Chang. Any other board members for sub-district reports? Member Vanderbrink.
Thank you, Chair. If you forgive me, this is slightly outside my sub-district within our neighborhood in reference to two of the vacant lots that are at 1370 Kapiolani and 710 Sheraton Street. I was able to get some assistance through Councilmember Nishimoto's office to find out that these two vacant lots, which are owned by the same individual, are going to be going through a foreclosure sale by the city. This will be happening in May of next year. And this is due to tax liens on the property that go back from 2020 to this year. So I wanted to bring this up especially because I will probably have some questions for Mr. Sullivan for the city. I've had some conversations with some of our elected officials and from people within the neighborhood. And as much as we support affordable housing, I think these lots could better be served as a park, a dog park, a pickleball court, or something that would be of more beneficial use for the community, just besides another 300-foot high rise that will only be a third affordable. So I think our board might want to be interested in trying to get information from the city and our council members to try and make that a possibility of some or all of that land to be put towards some community benefit.
Thank you, Member Vanderbrink. Any other board members for sub-district reports? Member Farias.
Thank you, Chair. Just to reiterate quickly, again, the proposed site that HCDA was going to be doing, the HICO area for my neighbors, One Archer Lane. So there was a lot of chatter over the years that the state and HICO were thinking of swapping that area and to develop affordable housing. But the previous legislative representatives, they were voted against that. So therefore that is off the table. That base yard is going to remain a base yard for the moment. And also in terms of our our crosswalk that's still pending on South King Street and Alamakai because I'm sure you remember Chuck, that how we did the overnight removal of crosswalks. This is the area right across of Straw where a lot of the kupuna traverse getting to the hospital area. So as of yet, no movement on that, but I will keep on keeping on with that in terms of getting that crosswalk replaced in our sub-district. And lastly, just to circle back to that neighborhood gathering at the regarding ACDA, that meeting, it was very curious that a lot of people were not made aware of that meeting. And again, it was a neighborhood citizen-led meeting. And it's unfortunate to hear that notes were slipped under the door. But I really want to acknowledge Councilman Tyler Dos Santos Tam. He sent out a mailer, a half-sheet mailer to myself and my neighbors. And we did get a notice saying of this, Kaka'ako residents meeting. So thank you to him and his office for providing that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Farinas. Any other sub-district reports? Okay, thank you, board. The time is now 7:51. Moving on to residents and community concerns. Do we have anyone from the community? Okay. Okay, sir, you have 3 minutes. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you, board members. My name is Alex Beatty. I live in, I think, Sub-District 2. And I came here last week to talk a little bit about Sheridan Park. Again, I'm a little disappointed that the only discussion was about parking. There are other ways to access the park, including the crosswalks that aren't there anymore. But what I'm really here to say is that I have adopted the park. And so I'm waiting for Parks and Rec, the good folks at Parks and Rec, to confirm my application. And I've created an email account, and it's adoptsheridanpark@gmail.com. So if you want to participate, email me. The requirements are I have 4 cleanups a year. Maybe I'll get a sign and put them up the weekend before, or maybe I'll just go clean up the park. My Parks and Rec also has the Division of Urban Forestry. I met with them at the park and walked the site. I'm hoping that they will agree to do, this is just kind of like an update, right? What happened from last time. I'm hoping that they're going to do a park planting. So I will also need help watering those trees. So if you're interested in assisting to water the trees, email adoptsheridanpark@gmail.com. That's really it. So thank you. And again, send me an email if you want to participate. It's supposed to take about 2 months for DPR to respond to requests to adopt parks. And yeah, that's all. Well, thank you.
Thank you for being here this evening. Oh, go ahead, Member Chang.
2 questions. Number 1, what's involved in adopting the park? And then number 2, what's your plans?
The park adoption process was not complicated. It involved promising to do 4 cleanups a year for 2 years, and you can do it as an individual or as a group. It can become complicated if you are doing plantings yourself or improvements yourself, which I do not intend to do. I'm hoping that urban forestry will, it's my understanding that they have choke trees, but they don't want to do too many street tree plantings, but they want to do plantings in parks. So there are trees to be planted in parks. They just need help maintaining them for the first 2 years. So that's sort of the plan. I initially came last week because the park got burned down, the playground. And I go to Sheridan Park typically about 3 times a day, like twice on a dog walk and once with, well, not anymore though, but like once with my son. So it was a pretty convenient place to go. I like trees and street trees, so I think that that's something that's a personal interest of mine that I can help bring to the park. And the city has policies about expanding canopy coverage and planting native trees and diversifying our urban forest. So I figured that the city might be a willing partner, and they've proven to be quite interested. The urban forestry folks are really great to work with, and the Parks and Rec folks have also been really responsive, probably because I'm proposing to do some work for them. But I think it's important, and Sheridan Park's a really nice park. The even just the like landscape design of it is really special. Whoever made it took care to have a place for parents to sit that was shaded, that was where they could watch their kids, but not too close so that kids could play freely. It's really well put together. It just is burned down. Right? Like that's the current status of it. So I'm hoping that these additional side improvements to increase canopy coverage, to make the bus stop nicer so that you can actually wait outside, to have the crosswalks get painted so that people can confidently cross the street, so that you don't have to push a beg button to cross Pi'ikoi. Like it's just mind blowing that in a place so dense with so many people who do walk, our infrastructure is so lacking. And then to be worried about parking access at a community park that people walk to when the infrastructure to walk there isn't there. So I'm hoping that with a little effort on my part and with the help of Duff and DPR, we can make these other improvements. And then when the playground gets rebuilt, there will be some other activities going on and people will come and hang out and kids will play at the park and it won't be so hot.
Would you come back and update us on your progress?
Yeah, email me also if you want to participate.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And we also received a request from DPR to present next month, because so they'll be here. If you can come back, because they'll be here as well.
Okay, great.
Member Van Brink.
Thank you. So I want to really thank you for being that integral part of the community to try and help take care of the park. I know we're trying to do it with Ala Moana Beach Park to have some sort of cleanup there as well, but at least from being the vice chair of the action committee, I'd be happy to put your email on there as well. And if you have any dates for any upcoming cleaning events, we can put that there as well to try and get community members, including ourselves, to come out there and help you clean it.
Sure. So there's I'm not authorized yet, so I need to wait for the wheels of bureaucracy to churn. Right. Eventually, my forms will be signed by, I suppose, Director Thielen, and then from there, I will be able to host a cleanup. And I'll let you know. The plan is, it says 2 months, so I'm thinking October 21st, or around there, the Saturday closest to that. That's about when I submitted the paper.
Oh, that sounds totally great. I know just because you are going to adopt it, I do just, when I come to these meetings, I do walk by it all the time and take a look. And I really noticed that caution tape was really a concern because it's just loose and hanging in the wind and it's not really covering anything. But
the caution tape is the most fun thing in the park right now. It's what kids play with. So that seems to be working.
But yeah, thank you for doing what you're doing there and we'll be happy to help you.
So email me if you want to help participate. adoptsheridanpark@gmail.com.
Thank you. Member Rice?
One last question. Is there a timeline yet to replace the burned playground?
That's a good question. Not for me.
Not for you.
No,
Okay.
I had last heard that it would be several months because it's a more complicated rebuild than what happened in Wahiawa. But I still haven't heard anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. I talked with Nate, who was the spokesman for the parts department. He did also reiterate it would be several months because the 6 weeks it took for the Wahiawa was a special occasion. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I don't think we'll get an update this month or any reasonable update, but probably for next month, we want to go through Mr. Sullivan to try and get an update from the parks, or if they're coming here, get an update from them when they're here.
Thank you. Member Chan?
Okay, so we were previously quite involved with that area because, you know, they redeveloped that tower there, and that was the Justice Department there, the Judicial Department here. And one of the issues we discussed with them was that there was the juvenile meetings there with the parole officers. And what had happened was that they had found at that park that because there had been issues with the kids are in trouble, they're in the justice system, when they would meet each other in the waiting room, they would get to know new friends and they would get into more trouble, more serious trouble. So the policy then became that they would have no youth meet there, that they would have the parole officers go out to the community, to the parents' houses, just so the kids would not meet each other and get into more trouble there. Okay. So the concern was juvenile criminal activity right there. Okay. So that's one thing I just wanted to ask you about. You know, if you've seen that, you keep an eye out for that. That's going on there. We can follow up with the judicial department. The other thing is I've noticed walking by there at night, it seems to be a lot of people sleeping in their cars right there on the side. I don't know if that's still going on, if you see it, but these are on the ground stuff that, thank God we've got you there all the time. Maybe you could tell us about what you see going on in the park next time.
The number of cars that are being parked there that aren't being driven is astounding. There are so many cars taking up parking spaces that don't get driven, that are there for months on end. And people do live in their cars, and that's a shame. And that's a separate issue, I think. I have not noticed it being a youth problem with like crime. If anything, there aren't enough kids playing at the park. And there are people play basketball there like crazy every night. It's like, the basketball court is extremely popular, in spite of what's happening around it or nearby. Like late, the park has been what I would only describe as like reasonably clean and safe, but underattended because it got burned down.
Thank you. And sir, could you restate your name? Apologies, I didn't catch it.
It's
quite.
Alex Beatty, Beatty.
Plug your email one more time.
adoptsheridanpark@gmail.com.
Mr. Beatty, thank you for being here this evening. Okay, the time is now 8:01 p.m. Elected official reports. We have Mr. Ben Sullivan on behalf of Mayor Blangiardi. Okay, sorry, Mr. Sullivan, let me pause real quick. Apologies, there was a community concern online. If you could state your name, sir. Sir, if you could unmute your. Okay.
So I'm with Steve. If I could just speak up. Okay.
Are you able to hear me? Yes.
Okay, can you try that one more time?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, could you state your name, sir?
Yes, it's Steve Davidson. I'm representing Mid-Pacific Roadrunner Club. And just here to let you know that on October 12th at 7 a.m. Will be the Lea Lea Charity 5K run at Moana Park, the usual course around Moana Park and Magic Island. This is a charity race run by actually HIS, the Japanese tour agency, and Midpack Roadrunners is helping them to put it on. And all proceeds are going to the Waikiki Aquarium. And we're hoping that perhaps some of you will join us on the morning of October 12th.
Thank you, Mr. Steve Davidson, for letting us know about that event. Member Rice?
What time of the day is that taking place?
I have a colleague of mine, also from Midpack Roadrunners, to tell you about another event.
Could you tell us the time that the October 12th event is going to take place?
It starts
please?
at 7 a.m., should be done by 9:30.
Do we have to register for that in advance for this charity event?
You may register in advance. Just search for Lea Lea, Lealea, Charity 5K. You also may register on site that morning before the race, but it'll be less expensive if you register in advance.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Did we have
And,
another individual? Okay, go ahead if you can introduce yourself,
Yes,
sir.
Frank.
Yes. Okay. I hope that's me. So my name is Frank Floyd. I actually work with Steve Davidson, and I'm here to talk about, to let you know about another race that's occurring that same weekend.
Sorry, real quick, sir, we can barely hear you.
Okay, is this better? Hello?
No.
No.
You're coming in a little muffled.
don't know what else to do. I'm talking right into the microphone. So I'll do it anyway. Let me just get through this. It's not, it's very similar to what Steve talked about. We have a 5K race. It's the Honolulu Pride Run. This is our 6th year. It's in Moana Park. It's at 7 a.m. on the 11th, Saturday 11th, and it will be done by about 9:30 or 10 a.m. It's part of we see it as part of the Pride Festival in Hawaii. We do it a week before the Pride parade. And we usually have about 300 participants.
Okay, Mr. Floyd, just to reconfirm, October 11th, yes?
Yes.
From same time, start time at 7 a.m.?
We start at 7 a.m., yes.
Okay, thank you so much to you and Mr. Davidson for letting us know about these events. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Shirley, can you hear me? My name is Curtis.
Okay, yes.
Great.
ahead,
So in regards to Ala Moana Regional Park, it sounds like the event will be held there. We saw this past 4th of July a lot of illegal parking and traffic congestion coming out of Ala Moana Regional Park. And I was wondering if the Parks Department or the city can do something to address illegal parking, which, you know, really impedes the flow of traffic at the park. It took me and my friends about an hour to an hour and a half to get out of Ala Moana Regional Park this past 4th of July, and that was really frustrating. So if HPD and, you know, the Parks Department can figure out, you know, some sort of traffic flow pattern and possibly repainting the parking lot to, you know, get the traffic flow going in one direction, that would be really helpful to prevent that sort of traffic congestion, which could affect emergency responders and their response times. Second, in regards to dogs in Ala Moana Park, I'm not sure if the city is going to change that rule, because right now it's a pretty serious fine of up to $500 and up to 30 days in jail. So if the Parks Department's going to change their policy, if park users could be notified about that change. And lastly, I'd like the board to consider reviewing Honolulu City Council Bill 54, which is related to the bus and Skyline transit fares. Monthly passes are proposed to go up for adults from $80 to $90 for the monthly pass, and from $880 to $990 for the annual pass. And they're also proposing increasing the youth monthly pass from $40 to $45, and the youth annual pass from $440 to $495. Also, there is a proposal in Bill 54 to add a 25-cent surcharge for cash users. And by the way, the bus doesn't give out paper transfers anymore, so I guess they're trying to encourage bus and Skyline users to use the Holo card, but I oppose these increases, especially for the youth monthly and annual passes. So I would encourage the Ala Moana Neighborhood Board to consider supporting the Honolulu Youth Commission and their resolution to oppose any increases to the youth monthly and annual pass, along with the 25-cent cash surcharge, because there is no benefit to a 25-cent surcharge. And you know, a dollar fare, there shouldn't be a discrimination based on whether you use cash or the Holo card. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis, for bringing up those community concerns. The time is now 8:09. We are moving on to elected official reports. And back to Mr. Ben Sullivan from the Mayor's office.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the board, it's great to see you all. What a beautiful night in August we have here. Getting pretty warm. Ben Sullivan, Executive Director for the Mayor's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. Before I go into my report, I just want to actually make a warm invitation to the board. If you ever want us to come in, our team to come in and talk about what's happening with climate, whether it be sea level rise in your district or our expectations for extreme heat in the future or other things that we're all trying to address and find solutions for, including Mr. Beatty with his very straightforward effort to get more tree canopies out there, we'd be happy to do that. There's quite a bit on the agenda as far as responses. As you know, the way this conversation works is you talk to me and a month later I talk back to you. And so that's what's happening. If you all roll back to a month ago, I'm going to provide you responses. I hope they're satisfactory. Not all of them will land. With regards to my first item, this was regards to Mr. Washburn's question last month about the development process and revised ordinance of Honolulu and the requirements to notify property owners. The response we got from DPP was that actually a permit has not been submitted yet for rezoning, and so therefore there hasn't been any verification of any records in terms of who was mailed what. But once that happens, they would certainly review to make sure that the requirements were met. My second item, there was a request made by Member Rice regarding landscape care at a sidewalk area adjacent to a bus stop, which was next to AutoZone, I believe. Is that correct? AutoSource, yes. And so I wish this was a better response. I always love to say we're going to take care of it, but what the response is, and this is important that there's boundaries in terms of what we do. The revised ordinance of Honolulu provide that the property owner is actually abutting the sidewalk, is the one who's responsible for cleaning the sidewalk area. And then there was also a note that the reason they're not paving or otherwise making the area around the bus stop impermeable is for the benefit of the tree that's there, and that if we were to pave that, A, we would potentially have more heaving of roots, which you've seen elsewhere, and then B, also the tree wouldn't get any water. And so that was the response that I was given. Hopefully the property owner will take a little bit more care, and there is a trash receptacle there, so if we can encourage everyone listening that uses the bus to get things into the trash receptacle. But
There's also some kind of, maybe it's a traffic light box or something that's looks like a car pushed it half over.
Okay.
It's not standing properly. I have a picture I can show you.
A picture would be lovely. The way that these kind of time warp responses work is that I can't now get back to you on that because I didn't ask that question, as you know, in good humor. Okay. So number 3, there was a question from the board about right turn on red at Pi'ikoi and Kapiolani. And this one caused some questioning at DTS because to their understanding, there is no right turn on red at Pi'ikoi and Kapiolani. So I don't know if we need to look at a different location or if the board's intent was somehow missed or there was something lost in translation. But that was a question that we responded to. And the response, unfortunately, from DTS was there's no such thing there. So if anybody remembers that conversation and can help us, we could try to ask the question again. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when pedestrians are crossing, they have the right of way and you look, cars are still making that turn. You're still in the middle of the crosswalk. It becomes a danger. And so that's one aspect. So it becomes a safety issue because, there's certain places where you have no right turn on red signs. And there's a lot of other places there's no signs at all. So people are not sure what to do. So either we're going to enforce the rules or get rid of it.
Okay, so my understanding of your comment, sir, is that that's an example of where there is not a right turn on red sign, but generally your comment is that because the layout of those signs is inconsistent, drivers are maybe they're a little more confused about when and where to do that. Is that right?
Yeah, I would suggest that the DTS, have some monitors to go there, particularly in a peak period. When you have a lot of seniors with walkers, particularly now, that's going up and down, traversing up a Pi'ikoi, in a Kapiolani and even further up. And you can see the traffic flow and you can see the pedestrian flow. It becomes kind of aggravating. So the bottom line there is the vehicle traffic versus pedestrian traffic. And then when you wait and only one car can turn because of the no right turn rule, then people jump it because they need to go home elsewhere.
Got it. Thank you. So unless there's additional comments by the board, I'm going to move past that one, which was number 3. How are we doing, Chair? As far as time? Yeah, okay. Number 4, there was a question for us to research whether we could provide a list of vacant properties. And I think that was an excellent question. And I will say that there's been other discussions, as you probably all know, about vacant properties. And one was regarding the empty homes tax. And so there was some investigation for that. And that was a whole different issue than I think the board was interested in. But unfortunately, in this case, DPP referred this question to the Department of Budget and Fiscal Services, and they actually said they don't have that data. So it's a non-answer, and I apologize, but that's what we got. Now, number 5, maybe perhaps more satisfying. The board had made a request for DPR to come to this meeting. I think there's been a communication since that time, and DPR is happy to come to the next meeting. We're unable to make it this one, but hopefully that'll be an excellent presentation. You can ask questions that you have, both regarding Ala Moana, I believe, and other parks. And, I forgot to mention this before, but I also want to compliment Mr. Beatty, because so many times, and I do this as well, we all get up here and we talk about what someone else should do. And it was really heartwarming to have somebody come up and just say, you know what, this is what I'm doing. And I want to follow his example. So thank you, sir. Maybe, yeah, let's see if we can get another question. There's a lot here from DPR. My assumption is the board would be okay with just deferring I could just defer these responses and you can get those responses in the next meeting when they're here and directly. Yeah. Okay. There was a request for surveillance and/or an increase in citations with regards to reckless bicycle behavior. And HPD responded certainly that they're concerned, and they actively patrol areas and address any violations they observe, including reckless bicycle behavior, such as popping wheelies and swerving in traffic. My last item, board participation in parades. So this is really exciting. Another one I was so happy to hear you vote on tonight. I will be there as a member of the mayor's office for the Pride Parade, happily, for I think like the 3rd or the 4th year. But so happy that this board is going to participate. My understanding is that NCO would be happy to try to help support the registration, and I think that's in the works now that you voted on it. So presumably we can have a follow-up at the next meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Van Sullivan. Board? Ms. Vanderbrink, Member Vanderbrink.
Thank you, Ben, for being here and answering all our questions. I wanted to, I'll try to keep it short, but I just have a few questions related to the 2 vacant lots I brought up earlier that are going to go through a foreclosure sale. This is at the 1370 Kapiolani and the 710 Sheraton Street. So it's my understanding this is pretty straightforward. BFS or whatever agency runs it will just go and sell them for foreclosure to the highest bidder in order to recoup the tax revenue that was lost during the years of non-payments of taxes, which result in the tax liens. I am very interested in having some sort of neighborhood or community benefit, such as a park, dog park, pickleball court on those properties, which I know private developers naturally buy them and do that out of the kindness of their heart. So I'm wondering if BFS or whatever relevant city agency is open to possibly negotiating on those properties to sell enough to recoup the tax revenue and possibly enter into negotiation with the Parks Department or HCDA or any other relevant party to create a park, dog park, a pickleball park there, or anything else that the neighborhood may feel is inclined to build there. Would you be able to ask if they would be inclined to that sort of deal, or?
Certainly we can put the question into the record. I think it might be more powerful if it was a board action as opposed to an individual board question, because my understanding of BFS process is they typically aren't able to act on like an individual's suggestion, whereas the more weight it has, the easier it is for them to try to get a response. I might also suggest talking to some of your elected representatives, but I think nonetheless, the question goes into the minutes, and certainly we can find out what the response is in terms of their standard process and whether there is any kind of standardization to the request for establishing parks or public purposes for lands that would otherwise be sold.
Yep, that's much appreciated. I was definitely going to go through our elected officials as well and any other board action we can, but I thought I'd at least pose the question. So if I get a yes, then that'd be a lot easier than going through all this action here.
Understood.
Yep, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Van der Brink. Member Frenius.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Sullivan. And just a quick acknowledgement, please let the superintendent who takes care of the roadways, they finally fixed the broken delineators, if you will, those white markers up along South King and Ward. So mahalo. It was a long time coming, but it finally got fixed. So please let him or her know. Thank you.
I'll give you a little tip, which is that it's a group of volunteers, actually in association with the Department of Transportation Services, that get out there and they fix them. The last one was on Ward Avenue, and the one prior to that, the kind of volunteer day was on Pensacola. And so Hawaii Bicycling League actually plays a big role in that as well. So just kind of an FYI, that's how that gets done currently. Maybe one day it'll be more of a direct city responsibility. The city does support it. So there's DTS trucks, and they provide like the trash pickup, and they also block off the traffic. But the volunteers are the ones who are actually ratcheting down the new delineators and everything like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Benson. Oh, Member Hernandez.
Special mahalo to Mr. Sullivan for actually participating and volunteering for that effect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ben Sullivan, for being here this evening. Appreciate it. Okay, the time is now 8:21. Moving on to City Council Member Scott Nishimoto or his office representative. Councilmember Nishimoto or his office representative, are you online?
I think they left a comment in the chat saying that their sound was not working.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Zhao.
I do have, I just wanted to note, Councilmember Nishimoto introduced Bill 53, which was recently heard by the council, and that would institute a parking requirement where none exists for affordable housing. And I did reach out to his office, and he scheduled a meeting with me so that we could find out more. It was reported in Civil Beat that he had introduced this bill on behalf of neighbors and neighborhood boards, but I looked back and I didn't see any indication that he had presented on this topic to this neighborhood board.
Thank you, Member Hernandez. Member Van der Brink.
Yeah, just to add on to what Member Hernandez said, I have attended the Macaulay neighborhood board before, and there is a lot of parking concerns from that area, and I know that is Scott Nishimoto's, Councilmember Nishimoto's district, especially when there was a apartment that was being presented there. Only about half of the units were going to have parking available, and there was no street parking. So I think it may have came from that area more so than our side of his district.
Thank you, Member Van der Brink. Okay, moving on to Councilmember Tyler Dos Santos Tam. Ms. Robin Hensky had left a note saying that representation from Councilmember Dos Santos Tam's office will now be through Mr. Malcolm Iwami, who is here in person.
Yes. Good evening, Chair, members of the board. My name is Malcolm. I'm a new-ish member of Tyler's team. I started in January. I just wanted to share with y'all the newsletter from August is up at the front if you'd like a copy. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Member Van der Brink.
Yes, as Mr. Sullivan pointed out, it might be good for us to go through some elected officials in reference to the 2 vacant lots I brought up earlier. And I know you can't necessarily provide answers. You'll have to go back to the council member for this, but would he be interested in supporting any resolutions or actions that are tied to these 2 foreclosed properties to provide any community benefits, such as a park, dog park, or whatever the community would entail, if he would be interested on that on the council side?
Sure, I can let him know that the board is requesting this and get back to you next month with an answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Hernandez.
I'd just like to thank Councilmember Tam. At the recent city council meeting, he indicated that he rides the bus daily. And I think that's a really important lived experience, particularly in our transit-oriented development district. I wish all of our elected officials would occasionally ride the bus, as well as experience our bike share, which I know council member has as well. So please share my mahalo.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, board members? Okay, Mr. Wami, thank you for being here this evening on behalf of council member. Okay, time is now 8:25. We are moving on to State Representative Ikaika Olds. I believe he is online.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Don't have a lot to share. Just want to remind living in House District 23 that are a part of this board. Make sure you turn in your surveys. Looking forward to getting some responses. Next week, Tuesday, from 6 to 8, we're going to be doing a lawmakers listen at Washington Middle School. We're going to be featuring the Speaker of House, Nadine Nakamura, and the new Finance Chair, Chris Todd, and maybe some other leadership who weren't able to absolutely RSVP, but maybe in attendance. It'd be a good opportunity just to be able to come down and ask questions, particularly for issues that may not necessarily pertain to our neighborhood, like, for example, geothermal on the Big Island or agriculture on Kauai. It's just a good opportunity to have some diversity. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Rep. Olds. Questions, board member Vandenbrink?
Thank you, Representative Olds. I don't necessarily have a question, but just kind of a comment for your upcoming town hall. It might be really good to talk about graffiti, especially as it relates to the Ala Moana area for where your district resides as well. Basically, almost every business over there has some type of graffiti on it. And even we saw over the weekend, Ala Moana Stadium got a big spot of graffiti that was sprayed over it overnight almost. And as we brought up here earlier in the meeting, graffiti is definitely an issue for our neighborhood that we want to hear more about.
Sure. I hope you're there to bring up that question.
I'll be there.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Representative Olds. We did get your flyer in the mail, so really appreciate that. Any other questions for Representative Ikaika Olds? Okay, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Moving on, State Representative Adrian Tam, who is here in person.
Good evening. So first and foremost, my newsletter is outside. If you guys want to grab it later, you guys can, but it's also online. We do an email blast to everyone today. Three things I want to talk to you about the Made in Hawaii Festival, especially the long lines in that area. We've received complaints, and what I can tell you is that the convention center staff, as well as Made in Hawaii, are debriefing right now on how to improve things, and they have been reaching out to the neighbors in that area. Second thing, I want to give an update on the noise cameras that we passed this bill back in 2023. It's finally going to be put into fruition. We're installing 10 cameras around urban Honolulu, and we're looking to finally install those 10 cameras by January 2026. The first initial steps would be data collection. So DOT will collect the data and send the hotspots to HPD. So the HPD will be in that area to issue citations. The overall end goal is to be able to automatically issue citations through this program. And finally, the Hawaii Tourism Authority is in the process of creating their strategic plan as well as destination management action plans. And they're holding a community meeting tomorrow on Zoom. It starts at 5 and it ends at 6:30. To register for that community meeting, you can visit bit.ly/OAHUCOM1. bit.ly/OAHUCOM1. And at this community meeting, you'll be able to provide your input into their strategic plan. What are the hotspots and what tourism should look like in your neighborhood? That is all that I have. So I'm open to any questions that you may have for me.
Thank you, Representative Tam. Questions, board member Vandenbrink?
Thank you, Representative Tam. I wanted to ask kind of a tourism question since you are chair of the tourism committee. I've been seeing a lot in reference to decreased travel from Asia and increased travel from Australia and New Zealand. I just want to say if you happen to be familiar with the data, if that's backing it up, if we're seeing less travel from Asia, tourism related.
Yeah.
They are.
Yep, you're right. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. What I do know is that I did have a meeting with several of our marketing teams in Korea today, and they are starting to pick up more of their promotional materials. So hopefully these numbers will improve soon. The tourism conference is in September, where they'll be here to present at the Hawaii Convention Center. I think it's September 22nd. Don't know specific times, but they'll be presenting there what's happening, and they're going to come back in March to present their results again, their statistics and what they're doing.
Thank you. And in reference to the noise camera hotspots that you were talking about, do you happen to know if any are around the South King Street and Kalakaua?
That I do not know. I think that you should reach out to DOT. But what I can tell you is that through this program, DOT is soliciting a lot of community input so that they're hoping to put more noise cameras elsewhere. DOT tends to want to put these cameras in places where the neighborhood wants it.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Tam. Member Rice.
Good evening, Representative Tam. Thanks for being here as always. Last November, October, November, the governor's representative mentioned that he went to Japan to see what he could do with, I don't know who went with him, to get more visitors from Japan to come back to Hawaii as they always have pre-COVID. I had asked that representative, what did he do? What kind of meetings took place? Was it just nice dinners and meet and greets? What action steps came as a result of that meeting? We have yet to receive any answers. I keep asking, but I don't get any answers. Would you happen to know? And if you don't, would you be so kind as to find out? Because my former life, as you know, was in hospitality. I've been on these trips. I know what they're all about. But there has to be results when people who are elected and use taxpayers' money to go on these trips. There has to be results. It's gone south since he went to Japan. Fewer and fewer visitors from Japan are coming. It's impacting all of Waikiki. You go to Waikiki, you can throw bowling balls down Kalakaua Avenue. There's nobody there, as you know. Businesses are closing. Quicksilver closed. Dylan's Candy closed. Urban Outfitters closed. A whole slew of restaurants have closed because our visitors from Japan are not returning. We know that after COVID, it was once Hawaii opened up, they weren't coming because they were still in lockdown. Then it's been the yen-dollar imbalance, which is still prevailing. But what are we doing? Are we going to the airlines? Hawaiian Air cut 11 flights from Hawaii to Japan and Japan to here. United Airlines snapped them up and they're going Okinawa. They're going to Guam. They're going to Australia. They're going to New Zealand. They're not coming here. They're not bringing bodies. What are the airlines doing to lower airfares like they did for the US mainland to bring people from Japan? What are the hotels doing? Hotel rates are out of whack. There was an article about Maui recently and how people don't want to go to Maui anymore because it's too expensive.
Can you wrap this up a little bit?
Yeah, is there like a specific question?
Yeah, I want to know what happened when the governor was in Japan. What were the results?
Perhaps
what
you should ask the
action
governor.
committees? I did. I asked the governor's representative. I'm still waiting. Okay, can I ask my question, please?
We'd like to get on and finish the meeting, please, Member Rice.
Okay, so let's, thank you, Member
So
Rice.
maybe you can go to the governor's office and find out, or maybe the governor's representative will have some answers, because I keep asking and we get stonewalled. Hawaii's bread and butter is visitors. And if we don't have our visitors from Japan like we had pre-COVID, there aren't going to be jobs and no one's going to be able to stay here and live here and work here. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rice. Representative Tam, did you want to answer that? And then if Governor's representative is online as well, if you could take note of that question as well.
I'm not going to follow up the governor's that. That's not my job. You have to ask the governor yourself. Second, if the governor decides not to answer you, that's not on me. The thing about visitors from Japan is that we have to expand our market. We can't just put money into marketing to Japan anymore, especially when there's an economic down push. So what I can tell you is that this year we have done that. We have expanded. So we are looking in markets of China and Taiwan. And we're hoping to someday expand it to Singapore. Because what I want is affluent visitors coming here, not just filling up the seats in budget airlines, but enjoying the premium destination that we offer in Hawaii right now. And that's not going to happen if Hawaiian Airlines is pulling out, because they're one of the top airlines going in. And that's one of the reasons why I had a meeting with Meet Hawaii Korea and Hawaii Tourism Korea today. And I'm hoping that as we put more money and we restructure HTA, we'll be able to attract more of our passengers and more of that affluent visitors to come here.
Thank you, Rep. Tam. Okay, no further.
Thank you, Representative Tam.
Okay, thank you for being here this evening. Okay, moving on to Representative Kim Koko Iwamoto. I see Miss Kate Ozawa online.
Good evening, everyone. Representative Iwamoto sent her regrets. She would love to be here. She had some personal calendar clashes. But she wanted me to tell you guys all about the town halls that we are having in individual condo buildings as we've gotten contact with them, as they've replied to us. I believe we've had 6 now, mostly in Kupuna homes first. Our first non-Kupuna one is this Friday at Nohona Hale. We are doing these by individual buildings. Just so that we can customize them to what the residents would like to hear and want get information about. And we are in the process of setting up a town hall at sorry, not a town hall, a legislators listening session at the McKinley High School Library on September 17th at 6 p.m. The paperwork has not been finalized yet. Once it is, we hope to send out a mailer just in the immediate vicinity of McKinley High School. But we're very excited. And I put in the chat the link to subscribe to our e-newsletter. And I also just wanted to shout out the guy who adopted Sheridan Park. Please email us. We would love to try to help you get linked up with some potential volunteer groups. What you're doing is amazing. I think there's the emails in your chat there, but if you could email us, that would be great. And if anyone has any questions, I know some people had concerns about certain roads and certain sidewalks. You can email us at repiwamoto, REPIWAMOTO @capital.hawaii.gov. Thanks.
Ms. Ozawa, thank you. Questions from the board? Okay, thank you. The time is now 8:38. Senator Sharon Moriwaki or her office representative, are you here? Okay, and we have Governor Green's representative, Miss Ashton Stallings. I believe you were online.
Yes, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. All right, well, it's good to see everyone. I was able to see our team at the farmers market, and so kudos to them for being out there in the heat and meeting with community members. It's great seeing them. So at the last meeting, I did get a question from Board Member Hernandez for the governor about his stance on electric vehicles after House Bill 958 was vetoed. And so what it boils down to is the language that was used in that bill. The governor supports the overall intent of the bill, but with the current draft language that was included, it just put like a prohibition on high-speed electric vehicles being operated on roadways. So unfortunately, it was just a very broad definition. And so that's why it was vetoed. And then also, Board Member Hernandez, you mentioned a specific article about Matson saying that they were no longer going to be shipping electric vehicles. I looked into that, and their plan is to resume shipping electric vehicles, but only when it has what the company calls an appropriate safety solution that can be put in place. So that one boils down to safety. I sent this all over in an email as well, if you're interested in seeing the exact response that was given. And then in the chat, I put the governor's newsletter. As always, please check it out. Great information in there. This one focuses on a lot of the bill signing, like the green fee, the fireworks. And then again, I'm from DCCA, so there is a shout out to DCCA in there on the insurance bill that was put into place. So check it out. And then for Board Member Rice's, the concerns with Japanese tourism, I did provide a response back in March that I got from the governor's office, which I'm happy to go over again. That meeting focused on recovery of Japanese visitor numbers to pre-pandemic levels, implementing countermeasures to overcome hindrances such as unfavorable exchange rates and US inflation, maintaining Hawaii's brand position in the Japanese market, competitive branding and market to protect against competitive destination efforts, so not to lose market share, and then promotion of made in Hawaii products to support local businesses. So if there's another question that I should follow up with, I'm happy to take that as well. And then last little tidbit, another DCCA plug, but our cable television is doing a survey and we are all people of the community that like to be involved. So if you are an Oahu Hawaiian Telecom cable user, I'm going to put a link in the chat to a survey where you can give your feedback on how, you know, they're currently operating, what you'd like to see in the future. And this will all go into the renewal process of if they are to renew their cable franchise, which is next year. So make your voice heard. And then I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Stallings. Questions from the board? Member Chang.
This probably been discussed already, but when we had the tsunami warning, I had a couple residents in my building wanting to know if we were going to make the upper floors available in case the tsunami hit. And I explained to them, I said, if you're really worried about it, I said, walk up 1 block to King Street and cross the street because that's a safe zone. And they said, really? I said, yeah, if you look at the charts, King Street is where the safe zone is. So if you're really worried about it, walk up 1 block and go sit in the park. So my question is, and maybe I'm just ignorant, do we actually have signs that says tsunami safe zone? So maybe have a couple more on the main arteries going up toward the mountain and put it there so that people go, oh, okay, I'm safe. This is where it is. So that's my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Chang.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other
And
questions
I'll
from
take
the
that.
board?
I know I've seen the evacuation zone signs, but I'm not sure about the safety zone signs.
Thank you, Ms. Stallings. Member Vandenbrink.
Thank you, Chair. So just to reiterate what Member Chang said there, we did have a discussion in our action committee meeting. We do definitely want to hear more from the emergency management side, be it on the city or the state level, to try and address these concerns that we have. I know for me, like there are still people at the Makaisa Ala Moana Center at the bus stop when the tsunami was 20 minutes out. I definitely have concerns about what's going to be happening for them next, but just to kind of piggyback off of Member Chan's question there, high rises as well. It says you're supposed to evacuate out of the zones on the map, but at another section it says if you're above the 4th story and a building that's 9 stories or higher, you are generally safe. So I felt safe in my building, so I didn't evacuate, even though I'm in the evacuation zone. It's definitely some clarity from the website to say if you're in a high rise of a certain height, you don't need to evacuate, because all of Kaka'ako and Waikiki didn't seem like they needed to evacuate and clog up the roads for the people in lower lying areas that needed the roads to evacuate.
Great, and I'll relay all of this, and just so that everyone knows, the governor's team, everyone is taking it very seriously all of these safety measures. And I know that there have been discussions post, tsunami warming of how to improve. And so they're currently working on plans. And honestly, as unfortunate, as the circumstances are, we did get a test run of what a tsunami warning would look like without any detrimental damage. And so I know him and his team, Haima, they're all really analyzing every aspect of what went on that day and how to improve. And so again, I'll of course take this back and put in these recommendations as well into the report.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Stallings. Board, any other questions for the governor's representative? Okay, thank you for being here this evening. Appreciate it. Let's go back to Senator Sharon Moriwaki's representative, Mr. Joseph Kopshi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I'm glad everybody kind of brought up the tsunami scare. Senator Moriwaki wanted to let everybody know that on September 16th, at the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Ho'okupu Center, please don't crucify me for messing up that name, from 3 to 5. She's going to be doing a disaster preparedness fair. There's going to be agencies from HIEMA, HPD, and HFD, as well as Red Cross, to kind of discuss a lot of these questions, because I know that a lot of people, and she knows that a lot of people kind of left this tsunami scare wondering, hey, this didn't really work out. I waited in traffic for 4 hours in a flood zone. So she kind of wants to get answers to those questions as well. Additionally, she wanted to let everybody know that she did push out a survey recently. She's gotten a lot of really good feedback so far. If you haven't had a chance, I'm going to be dropping this neighborhood board report into the chat, and it will have an QR code that you can go ahead and scan, and it'll take you straight to that survey. Also, something that we've kind of noticed with some of the calls we get is that a lot of people will witness a crime or witness something that they suspect is a crime. They'll reach out to us about it, and we'll start asking them some of those questions about, what would you like to have us do about it? What happened? And it comes out that nobody called 911 during that, to include the person reporting it to us. We'd just like to remind people that that is an option, and that 911 is not going to bite your head off if you call for something that you might think is an emergency. So that's just a reminder that she'd like to put out there. Other than that, I'm here for any questions, and I will be dropping that newsletter in the chat.
Thank you, Mr. Kopshi. Member Chang, and then Member Vandenbrink.
I just want to, if you can pass on our thanks in the neighborhood to Senator Moriwaki. She was helpful in getting those metal plates on Leona Street, because she added her voice in to the neighborhood and my voice to getting on to move on that item. So please pass on our thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting us know, and I will pass that on to her.
Okay. Member Vandenbrink, and then Member Hashimoto.
Sorry, quick follow-up. What was the location at that preparedness seminar?
It is at the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Ho'okupu Center from 3 to 5 p.m. The address will be in the newsletter in case my rendition of that did not get through.
Sorry, Mr. Kopshi, is that the Ho'okupu Center over by Koala Basin?
Yes, that is
Okay.
the exact
Thank you.
location of it. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Member Vandenbrink.
Thank you. That's all.
Member Hashimoto.
I also wanted to thank Senator Moriwaki and for all of her support and helping us with the police patrols in this area in particular, helping us out a lot. But yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to her.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kopshi, for being here this evening. The time is now 8:49. We're moving on to agency reports. HCDA, Ms. Francine Murray, are you still online?
Yes, aloha. I'm Francine from HCDA. And for our HCDA updates this evening, the Kolowalu Small Dog Park is temporarily closed for maintenance and lawn revitalization. During the closure, Can you hear me?
Got a little fainter.
Oh, let me turn up this mic thing. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
During the closure, the small dogs are welcome in the large dog park, but we ask that owners keep the small dogs leashed because they might fit through the wider spaced fencing at the large dog park. Also, last month, there was a question about how often park security checks in. The security is required to check in at the Kolualu Park every 3 hours. There was also a concern about trash overflowing because the park was so well used. HCDA recently hired a new park caretaker who's collecting the trash more often, so hopefully that is resolved. But let us know if there's any other issues. And then last month, after the neighborhood board meeting, I went to follow up on the public storage on Kapiolani Boulevard and how the landscape was going. And I saw at least 3 homeless people camped under the awning, like Member Rice mentioned. However, yesterday when we went to follow up, they were no longer there, but the landscaping work hadn't started yet. So our executive director, Craig Nakamoto, followed up with the facility manager and landscaping company, and they both reassured him that the work's going to begin this week. Next, regarding the Kiwalo dumpster, last month, Member Rice had asked if it could be locked or something to prevent homeless people from messing with it. I talked to asset management and asked if they could lock it, but I have not yet received a response. So I'll get back to you when I hear about that. Last month, there was also a question about homeless dumpster diving on Ilani Y Street. So HCDA staff went along that street, and the only dumpsters they noticed that were not locked belonged to ABC. So they talked to the ABC store warehouse management, who said that since their dumpsters don't lock, they'll move them into the warehouse after hours. And residents from Kekilohana say they think that it's helped because there's been less commotion in the streets at night. But we'll keep an eye on that. And next, the Kaka'ako next board meetings are on Wednesday, September 3rd. Agendas will be posted on the website this week, this week, Thursday. The meetings are also held on Zoom and in person, and recordings are usually posted within a day or two. Regarding the town hall last week, Tuesday, I didn't attend, but I can take questions back to the office. A link to the presentation from that citizen meeting at Velocity and in the Symphony condominium is in the chat. The presentation is also on the homepage of the HCD website. It's called Kaka'ako Community Development District Informational Update. Look for the date. It says August 19th, and it's pretty close to the top of the website. So are there any questions?
Thank you. Board, in the interest of time, if you have any questions for Ms. Francine Murray, we'll go ahead and email her. But aside from that, thank you for being here this evening. Appreciate it. Moving on to, go ahead.
Thank you for being here. I did have a question mentioned earlier regarding Kupuna Shed at the Waimanu Street property that Mr. Nakamoto mentioned. If we could get some information about how that nonprofit was selected, I'd welcome to hear that.
Thank you, Member Hernandez.
I'll take that question back.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Appreciate you being here this evening. The time is now 8:54 p.m. We have Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation or HART.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Harry Cho with the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation. It's great to meet everyone in person finally. Well, first, actually, I wanted to highlight this community event that we'll be hosting on September 11th, 6 p.m. at Kalakaua Middle School. HART and our contractor will be hosting a community workshop to gather public input on certain design features of the Kapalama and Kalihi rail stations. These workshops are going to be held through the remainder of the year and into next year. Back in June, we held our first workshop for the Chinatown station. And each station will have 2 workshops. So we invite everyone to join us there. And I also wanted to introduce our contractor, Tudor Perini. They are our station and guideway contractor for the next phase of rail construction in the downtown and Kalihi area. They're responsible for building the next 3 miles of guideway and 6 stations between Kalihi and Kaka'ako. So just to give us an overview on what you can expect to see in the coming months, I've asked them to join me here today. So I can introduce them here.
Gary. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board, and great to meet everybody. My name is Rob Washington. I'm the Public Involvement Manager for Tudor Perini. As Harry mentioned, the construction company doing the the City Center Guideway and Station segment of the Honolulu Rail Transit Project. With me tonight is also Damon Petrillo. He is our project executive, and also Tom Jackson. He is our construction manager for the overall project. So we did just have our groundbreaking ceremony back in August on the 11th, which is over at the Civic Center Station located on Halakivila Street, just beyond South Street and Ke'ave Street. So we are starting to do work over in the area. And we do have the lanes reduced on Nimitz Highway, which is a little bit outside of this area, I believe, but just for awareness of this group here. So if you do have any questions for us, we are here to answer those.
Okay, let's go do that real quick. Member Rice, Member Rand.
I just wanted to thank you for staying through the meeting. It was a long meeting and we appreciate it. But it's important for you to see how the neighborhood board operates too.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Yeah, no, and several of us actually live in the community too. So we're here in Kaka'ako. Will do.
I just had an informational question. Your station at the Lagoon Drive,
That would be a different contractor.
but is it open?
Not yet. The second segment of the project, which goes past Pearl Harbor, the airport, Lagoon Drive,
Uh-huh.
to Kalihi Transit Center, is opening on October 16th.
Okay, so what is the last stop that's open?
Kalihi Transit Center.
Kalihi Transit Center.
Yeah, currently it stops at Aloha Stadium, but after October 16th,
16th.
it'll run to the Kalihi Transit Center.
Nice, and that station will be open at that time.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Member Farinas.
Thanks for being here again. I'm just following up with the last meeting. The question that I posed is it Hart's hard stance on not having the escalator at one of the larger stations, that is close to the employment centers, and the understanding is they're going to bulk up on the elevators, if you will, but totally
Sorry, I don't remember if I emailed a response back to you.
did not get one.
I did not? Okay, I'm sorry. I will get back to you. But that position has not changed. There are not going to be escalators at any of the remaining stations between Kalihi and Kaka'ako.
Member Vanderbeek.
So just to confirm, then these ones won't have escalators at all then?
Correct.
Quick question, Member Chan.
Comments real quick. The report was that Nimitz was going to be closed for 5 years. My wife in particular wanted to get your response on why.
Yeah, so it's not closed. Nimitz is still open. It's one lane in each direction is blocked off, including the median for the contractor's work zone. But Nimitz is still accessible. All of the side streets are still accessible. There are going to be detours from time to time on certain streets, but Nimitz is not closed. It's still open for the duration of the project.
So we're going to get advisories on when those detours and all.
Yeah, when there's more significant detours and longer shutdowns of roads, we will issue additional advisories.
Okay, thank you. Member Fernandez.
I had a question. To what extent are you involved in conversations with the city around multimodal options at train stations? Specifically bike share? Because as far as I know, there's no bike share at any rail facility. Is that something that could be possible?
I don't know off the top of my head. I would need to get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Chang.
I want to second that bike share thing. That's pretty important. You know, people drive their car to drop off their friend, their mother, their brother there. It's going to create a lot of traffic around there. So I have a design question for you, which is that, is it true there's no bathrooms there?
There's no public restrooms. That's correct.
Okay, so no bathrooms, no commerce too, right? There's no stores, no shops, nothing.
At this time, no, but it could change in the future based on the Department of Transportation Services plans when they operate the system.
Okay, so there's still some flexibility there. We might get bathrooms. There's some leeway into the future, right? We're not set in stone hardcore at this point.
Public restrooms, I believe, are not going to be part of any stations. I think the Department of Transportation Services allows passengers to use one of the private restrooms in case of any emergencies. I don't, but they aren't public or open, you know, to use at any time.
Thank you.
Okay, I have no other questions from the board. Thank you, Mr. Cho. I think this is the first time we've seen you in person since we see you online all the time. And to the rest of you folks, thank you again for staying throughout the meeting and being here in person. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, now moving on to announcements, upcoming events, Aloha Festivals. We have our social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram. Remind me to give you access. Next Action Committee, Thursday, September 11th, regular board meeting, Thursday, September 23rd, and our broadcasts are on Olelo. It is now 9:01, meeting is adjourned.